Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It is your dude, Mr. International Passport, here again for yet another Future Classic live stream. First and foremost, can you press anyone in the live stream chat if you can hear me loud and clear? How's my audio? Mayday, Mayday, check 1 2, check 1 2. How is my audio? And who's here? Who's here? Who is here? How's everyone? Aussie heavyweight champ. Fantastic. Awesome. Awesome. So let's get straight into it, brothers. So Tensuke also here in the building. Thank you very much. So we're here, brothers, to break down Nigeria. That Ronin too, appreciate you, bro. In regards of culture, life, woman. It's going to be a very interesting stream. Got a very special guest here with me called Mr. Babatunde. Babatunde, how you doing, bro?
Good. IP yourself?
I'm all right, brother. Thank you very much, brother. Much appreciated. So, Babatunde, I want to say thank you very much for your time today. It's much appreciated. How about we start with introductions first and foremost? So, give us, who you are, brother, where you're from, and anything interesting about you, by the way.
Yeah, so my name is Babatunde. Currently living in Melbourne, Australia. I've been in Australia for the past 10 years. Currently taking IP's Python class, or in IP's Python class, which is amazing. Currently taking also a course in cybersecurity. I've got literally about a month or so to go, which is also very interesting. And I'm about that passport bro life, working remotely, getting into that IT space, and living the dream.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. Fantastic, brother. And may you live that dream indeed. So, Mr. Babatunde, thank you very much for your time in regards to this live stream. So, Nigeria, okay, big country, very interesting country too, because I'm assuming, brother, you have some ties there, right? Let's start with that first. So, what's your connection to Nigeria, bro?
So, as you're aware, IP, I am from Nigeria. Uh, Both my parents are Nigerian of the Yoruba ethnic stock. So Nigeria is really dear to my heart. I always follow the politics, the economics, even just this morning, because it's morning here in Melbourne. Sorry, it's afternoon and morning. And just before I came on the stream, I was reading, some tweets about some of the politics and some of the, so I do follow Nigeria very, like full on, I would say.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. Brother, I'm assuming that you were born and raised there.
Yes, yes, I was born and raised in Nigeria, and I moved yeah to Australia 10 years ago. So yeah, I am Nigerian, like full-blooded.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. So, okay. So now, let's get straight into it, bro. So, from a passport, bro, perspective, okay, which are the cities in Nigeria that we should actually pay more attention to for holiday, living there? Because it's a very big country. I think it's one of the biggest in Africa. So, is it Lagos? Is it somewhere else? Well, break it down for us, bro.
Okay, so you are right. Nigeria is a big country. It's definitely bigger than the UK and France put together. So it's quite big, but not the biggest in terms of size. There are other, I think there are about 6 or 7 countries that are bigger than Nigeria in size. But it is the biggest in terms of population. That's a fact. Um, if you're going to Nigeria for holiday, I would say the main city would be Lagos. I'm also a bit biased because I am from Lagos, so there's a bit of bias to it as well. But Lagos is definitely the biggest city in the whole of Africa, and not just Nigeria or West Africa in terms of people, like population wise. It is the biggest city. I would say it's the most advanced in terms of what you can get, like with IT and I would say infrastructure, maybe Abuja, which is the capital. But in Lagos, you would if you're trying to go on holiday, Lagos is definitely where you should be at. That should definitely be your first stop. Amazing nightlife, a lot of bars, a lot of clubs, restaurants, hotels, a lot of fun places to go to. Abuja also is it's definitely one place that you should go. Like if you go to Nigeria and you only go to Lagos, then you haven't experienced the whole of Nigeria. You should definitely visit Abuja. IP, you know me, I have traveled across a lot of African countries,
Hmm.
and I will tell you, I haven't been to South Africa yet. I'm planning on going to South Africa later this year. But of all the countries that I've been to, of all the streams that you and I have done together, I can tell you for a fact, no city comes close to Abuja. Abuja is a beautiful city. It is one of the most beautiful cities in Africa, on the African continent. One of the reasons is also because it's the seat of power, and it is a relative new city, so all the infrastructure are new. Everything is world class, I would say. So Abuja definitely is a place that you should definitely visit. And also, lastly, I would say maybe Calabar. That's in the southern part of the country. Calabar, really nice, serene environment, and you know, beautiful. Like they've got like really good food, and also good environment. So for me, I would say those are the three main cities that you should visit if you're going as a tourist, for sure.
Incredible, bro. Incredible. So, amazing breakdown so far. So now, when it comes to accommodation, bro, um, you know, is it preferable, brother, stay in a hotel or Airbnb? Break it down for us, bro.
To be honest, if it's your first time and let's say you're going alone, I would recommend staying at a hotel, and I would recommend staying on the island in Lagos, most especially. So I'll be basing my I'll be basing this stream will be based on Lagos and Abuja, because those are the two main cities, I would say. So if you're in Lagos, I would say I would recommend that you stay on the island. Lagos is divided into two parts. You have the mainland and you have the island. The island is where everything in Lagos happens. That's like the very bougie part of the city. So I would recommend you stay, at a hotel on the island. VI, Lekki, Ikoyi, those are like the, three main spots that you want to be.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. And brother, how are the hotels like, brother, in Nigeria? Is it good hotels, high class hotels? Break it down for us in your personal opinion.
IP, like there's absolutely every hotel that you can think of is in Nigeria. Like every hotel you can think of. You've got your Sheratons, you've got your you know, your like any hotel brand that you could think of is in Nigeria. So there are definitely very good hotels. Like I've stayed in a couple of hotels, a couple of the times that I visited, and I can tell you that there's no need to fear when it comes to and you also have boutique hotels. What I would recommend actually, I wouldn't say you should spend a lot of money staying in very fancy hotels. There are a lot of boutique hotels on the island. Good price, good service. I would recommend you stay at a boutique hotel. It's far it gives you good value for your money rather than staying in those big and fancy hotels. It's just yeah, for me as a person, I don't think I would recommend that. The boutique hotels are way better.
Awesome, bro. Awesome, awesome. So, brother, so these hotels, right? So, are they owned by Black Nigerians or are they owned by Chinese, Lebanese? I know there's Lebanese that's quite deep in Africa. I'm assuming there must be Nigeria as well. Or yeah, who runs these hotels, brother?
It's a mixed bag, IP. I won't give you any sort of, any sort of BS. Like it is a mixed bag. You're all right. There are a lot of Lebanese in Nigeria, and especially they run a lot of the hospitality chains in Nigeria. Some of not all, but some of those hotels are owned by French Lebanese, and also you will find a large majority of the hotels owned by local businessmen as well. So I would say it's a blend of foreign and local based owners. Yeah.
Okay, and we will touch upon Lebanese and all that stuff in Nigeria as to how they're moving out there later on. So now, brother, in terms of who runs the country of Nigeria, obviously Nigeria is a majority black population. Would you say that black Nigerians run Nigeria, or would you say it's an external force? Is it the Lebanese that actually run Nigeria, the Chinese, the Indians? So the Indians are there too. Break it down for us, bro.
I would say Nigeria is run by ethnic Nigerians. However, we've always heard that there is some sort of proxy, you know, uh, by the British, but largely I would say, the country is run by the locals because they determine what policies and what direction the government should go. So I would say the country is run by ethnic Nigerians for sure. Yeah.
Brother, when you say by proxy the British, right? What have you heard about that? People saying that England actually runs Nigeria via corruption, bribery, or is there some sort of loophole in the laws? What does that mean, bro?
What I can say is that in the past, especially when it comes to Nigerian politics, or people have always there's always been this conspiracy that um before independence, right? The British cited a particular group. I won't mention, and that group has predominantly remained and been in power for the majority of the time Nigeria has been independent. So what the feeling is that the British have sort of ruled the country via that proxy. I don't know if that makes sense.
Hmm.
But what I can say is that enlarged to even though that might exist, I still feel like the country is still being ran by the local like local Nigerians, and um it all depends on who is in power and what policy they want to drive. And I would still say a large when it comes to government policies and direction, I still believe that the country is run by whoever is in power or whatever group is in power at the time. So yeah, I would still say it's largely run by Nigerians. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. That's exactly what I want to hear, bro. Shout out to Eric Powell for the support. I will not travel all the way to Africa to support non-Nigerians. Facts, bro. If I'm traveling to an African country, I gotta support black people in that country. And I think that's how it should be as us being passport, you gotta support brothers in international countries. Facts, bro. Facts. Okay. So it appears it's ran by ethnic Nigerians. That's cool, brother. And Bobby, you would say that black people in Nigeria, right? Black Nigerians have the most power in Nigeria.
I would say so. You know what, IP? So I think by square mile or something, I don't remember what the actual statistic is, but in South Africa, or South Africa has the highest amount of millionaires per square kilometer or something like that. I don't know what the actual statistic is.
Yeah.
However, if you look at it, you'll find out that majority of those millionaires are not actually black people. They are mostly white, like maybe 80% or so. In Nigeria, it's the reverse. A lot of stuff in Nigeria is run by Nigerians, and that's why you would have there's a lot of black millionaires and billionaires that have the Nigerian stock than any other country in Africa. That I can tell you.
Awesome, awesome, bro. Fantastic. That's exactly what I want to hear. So now so brother, how are Western black men treated there, brother, by the people? In Nigeria, brothers who are from America, UK, Canada, from Western countries, Australia. How are we treated there amongst the people in Nigeria, bro?
You know what? There is a lot of Nigerians that are in the diaspora, there are a lot of Nigerians in the UK, a lot of Nigerians in the US, a lot of Nigerians in Canada, Australia, and the rest of the world. So Nigerians are actually very used to people from the diaspora. So I would say, they are treated good, but American, British, or Canadian or Australian is not new to a Nigerian. So they're definitely very used to from the diaspora, and you would be treated just the way that how you perceive yourself, and um, you definitely won't be treated in any bad way. That I can tell you.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome, bro. Awesome. So now, so in terms of investment, so Nigeria is top economy from what I read today actually in preparation for the stream in Africa. So are there investments there that we as passport bros can take advantage of? Sort of like, business opportunities there in Nigeria. Break it down for us, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Nigeria is a resource rich country. I'm sure you're aware that Nigeria has got oil and crude oil, and that has been the major export for Nigeria in the last, I would say, 60 years. And that has been explored in the last 60 years, and it's still been explored till today, just to show you the amount of oil deposits that is in Nigeria, right?
Mm,
But let me tell you something like the amount of gas that Nigeria has is actually 10 times the amount of the oil, which is yet to be fully, exploited. So Nigeria is sitting on incredible billion cubic tons of gas, which is crazy, you know. And also there is a lot of mineral resources. Just recently there was a lithium. Okay, just before I say that, there was a time, what's his name? Elon Musk was trying to set up a mining plant in Nigeria.
mm,
Just, not to specifically produce finished products, but to mine, lithium from Nigeria overseas then, And the Nigerian government at the time told him that, you know what, we're not really interested in exploration of this resource. Rather, we're more interested that, you come over, build a plant, and, transform the lithium into finished goods and then sell. So, it was sort of pushback as regards to that. And as I speak to you, there is a lithium company somewhere in the middle belt of Nigeria producing lithium into battery and selling. So there's definitely a lot of resources in Nigeria. However, for passport bros, what I would say is that, investments that passport bros can actually tap into. One, I would say real estate. There's a lot of real estate opportunities in cities like Lagos and Abuja, and that's because there's an emerging growing middle class in those cities, and also there is a large chunk of diasporans wanting to return to Nigeria, and they need accommodation, right? So real estate is definitely on the rise in the city of Lagos and Abuja. And also, I would say IT IT. So there's a big, I think Lagos, Nigeria is the um, um, top place for IT startups on the continent. I think it's Lagos, Nigeria, Nairobi, Kenya, and Johannesburg, South Africa. So that speaks a lot. You have the likes of Microsoft, Google, all having offices in Lagos. So that's to tell you, the sort of opportunities that are bound in Nigeria in terms of IT. And yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome, bro. Awesome. Um, whoa, okay. So, brother, actually, that's a great point there. So I'm looking at, I just searched up on Google, right? Nigeria lithium, and it appears that in Nigeria it could be the next major lithium producer, whatever. But a lot of Chinese money and investments, so Chinese mining firm advertise new energy materials. So, brother, so that goes to my next question, brother, right? Foreigners in Japan. So Chinese are there heavy, Lebanese are there heavy, Indians are heavy. Are they dominating Black Nigerians, brother? All these big companies, brother. Is the money going to average Nigerians? Brother. In your opinion, what is the end goal for these Chinese companies? Do they want to control Nigeria? Break it down for us, bro.
Well, I'm not sure if the end goal is to control Nigeria, but they definitely want to make money. So it's funny because a lot of Nigerians and a lot of Black diasporans, once they think of Nigeria, they have there's this misconception about Nigeria, not just by white people, but Black people as well. Once you think of Nigeria, they think about, corruption, they think about poverty, they think about terrorism, high crime rate, and all of this, negative. However, you have the Chinese and the Indians and Lebanese and all these foreigners in Nigeria, making money. You see? So there is opportunities for everyone in Nigeria, So the Nigerian government, is not against people coming to invest in Nigeria, whether you be Chinese, whether you be Lebanese, whether you be, from anywhere. However, there are Nigerians that are also involved in big time businesses. I was mentioning that you have a lot of millionaires and billionaires in Nigeria, right? The one that comes to mind is Aliko Dangote, right? Dangote is the richest Black person anywhere in the world. If you're Black and you're anywhere on this planet Earth, the richest Black man is Dangote, and he is from Nigeria. So you see that in most cases, a lot of these big time films from whether China, from whether Japan, Brazil, India, or wherever, they would sometimes partner with local Nigerian businessmen in order to, engage in certain businesses. So don't be surprised that you even though that lithium firm might be from China, there might also be some Nigerian that is involved, in the production of those or mining of those resources. So Nigeria is not really against anyone. If you have money, you're free to invest in Nigeria. However, is the average Nigerian benefiting from that? Well, I wouldn't. It depends. If you're skilled and you have some sort of if you're an engineer, if you're you're an IT expert, if you have some type of skill, you would definitely benefit because a lot of the workforce will be Nigerians, right? However, um, I'm not sure if the layman on the street would benefit, because obviously there's deficiencies when it comes to administration, or not in all cases, but in some areas, in terms of maybe corruption or government, misappropriation of public funds, things like that do exist. However, I feel like if you're a skilled Nigerian, you would benefit from all those investments that are coming into Nigeria.
Okay. So, brother, now, brother, the people of Nigeria. So, how are the people of Nigeria like, brother? Are they kind people, reserved, introverts? What's the personality of the average Nigerian brother, Black Nigerians,
To be
essentially?
honest, it depends on where you are in Nigeria. I feel it depends where you are in Nigeria. Like I wouldn't say Nigerians have a specific demeanor. You know, it depends what region you are. It depends which area you are. Nigerian is divided geopolitically into regions, right? Like the geopolitics of Nigeria is I would say divided into 6 regions, right? Now, I people from certain regions tend to behave or have a certain behavior. That's what I'll say. So it all depends on what part of Nigeria you meet who's from a certain region. So if you live in Lagos, right? Lagos is hyper. I can't even live in Lagos, man. Like it's just crazy. Like like there's so much energy, there's so much, there's so much drive, there's so much, so much eager to make money, you know. So that's the personality there. So if you're looking to make money, if you're ambitious, Lagos is where you want to be because the drive, the hunger is right in the city of Lagos. It's all about go, 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 money, 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 money. So that's the behavior there. However, if you're in a different part of Nigeria, let's say in the south, which is way chilled or way more relaxed, or in the north, you know, the lifestyle there is a bit more it's different because their way of life is a bit more reserved, you see.
Mhm.
So it all depends on what part of the country you are in and which Nigerian you meet who is from who is from depending on where that person is from. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Okay. So, brother, I'm guessing you come across Chinese, Lebanese, Indians, right? Or friends who have come across them. How are they like, brother? As people in Nigeria, are they arrogant? 'Cause the other day, obviously, I saw the news where a Chinese store owner refused to let Black Nigerians into his or her store in Nigeria, in a Black country, bro, which is insane. I can't imagine that happening in China, you know. So, but how are the foreigners moving like, brother, in Nigeria? Is it hatred towards Black people? Are they exclusive? Are they, they don't like to talk to Black people? Break it down for me, bro.
You know what I feel like, Pete? People will treat you the way your government treats you. I think that's just the simple truth. A lot of the things foreigners get away with in Africa and maybe even in Nigeria is because of the sort of way they attach the sort of value the government of those countries have towards their people. You know, a Chinese national or an Indian national couldn't treat someone from let me say England bad because they know that they won't get away with it. Do you understand? So
Mm.
what I feel is that um what is fun is that recently I was actually watching something else as regards to that incident, not that particular incident, but something related to it. So this was in Lagos, and there was a school, and in that school, the school is run by Indians, and the only people that can go to that school are Indians. There's no Nigerian kid that goes to that school. And there was a short documentary that was done where some journalists went to the school and they were asking the principal that, oh, are Nigerians allowed to come to the school? And she particularly said no, only Indians. You see? So those type of things are as a result of how I don't want to use what corruption, but how um how the government of a people perceive its own people or how it treats its own people. I don't know if that makes sense. So if that happens, it is a result of how the government itself is negligent in that aspect. So I don't interact with a lot of foreigners, because I don't even live in Nigeria at the moment. However, when I do go there, you know, the way I carry myself, it will be it will be very impossible for anyone to treat me in any type of way. Just because of the sort of aura and just the way I carry myself. Whether you be a foreigner, whether you be local. You understand? So that does happen. And I have seen, foreigners think that, locals are, yeah, that happens. But I would say it's all, as a result of how the government itself, has allowed such things. So that's definitely what I think is that governments in Africa should really have, or have its people in high esteem and look out for them, in order not to get subjected to those sort of ridiculous or ridicule instances.
Wow, that is not right in any shape or form. Having an Indian school in Nigeria where a Nigerian can't go, that's weird, bro. And that's why in the UK, when I come across Indians that tell me, oh, they're from Kenya, they're from Tanzania or Nigeria, I keep away from them, but I don't want nothing to do with them because I know the type of time they're on, or what kind of background they are. Um, I know for a fact that they have a lot of privileges and they're more wealthy than the average black person in an African country. I don't want anything to do with them, bro. To keep it real with you, there's quite a few in the UK, and I'm sick of it, bro. I'm sick of it. Shout out to DT
Nah,
for the support. Go on, bro. Go on, bro.
nah, you're right. You're right, IP. You're right. Like, even while I was in Kenya, I did find a lot of Indians who are Kenyans. I didn't see them doing any sort of, um, I didn't see them driving, tuk-tuks. I didn't see them, doing any sort of, um, labor work job. All I saw were, Indians in offices and in phone shops and, like, yeah. So, what you're saying is definitely true, IP. Wherever they are in Africa, they're definitely living way better than the average local black citizen of that country.
And how do you feel the average black person living in India, bro?
Yeah, it is what, like, yeah. All of this is as a result of colonization, IP. You know, the British were the ones that brought the Indians to Africa. They didn't come, by themselves. They came as a result of, the British. They brought them to Kenya, they brought them to Uganda, they brought them to South Africa, you know, and they sort of empowered them, you know. So there's also a historic aspect to this as well. So, you know, yeah, it's unfortunate.
It's very, very unfortunate, bro. Very unfortunate. Uh, Shout out to DT for the support. Eric Powell, what did I say that was wrong? I'm not sure. I don't copy, brother. Do you mind giving some context there, bro? Shout out to DT again for the support. Nigerians are only successful when they go to America or Britain. Do you agree or disagree with that, Babatunde?
No, I disagree. There are a lot of successful Nigerians living in Nigeria. What do you mean Nigerians are only successful when they go to Britain and America? No, the Nigerians
Oh,
are successful because they have drive, right? The average family in Nigeria believes in education, right? And that's why you will find in a country like the US, the highest amount of I think Nigeria is like the is it the most learned people in the US. Some, there's a stats that says that, and that's because of what the average Nigerian family, thinks. They believe in education, and that's why you find a lot of Nigerians abroad do very well. It's just, how their mindset is. And not just because, yeah. So there are a lot of Nigerians doing well in Nigeria. You have a lot of, rich people like billionaires, millionaires, and a lot of people that do business in Nigeria. And that's why when Nigerian goes to most countries, they do well. It's just because of that, um, that business acumen. So I don't believe that now. I disagree.
Awesome, bro. So next question for you, brother, is so how do you meet people and make friends in Nigeria, particularly in Abuja and Lagos, brother? How would you do so? 'Cause obviously, it's a big country, different personalities. So how would you meet trustworthy people, brother, and make friends in Nigeria?
I would say the best book in Nigeria would be through maybe if you know someone there, if you have met your friend who lives in Nigeria, and they can definitely take you around, show you around. Other than that, you want to be in, places of like the where the upper echelons go to. So, maybe like malls, lounges and restaurants, that or parks. I would say if you go to places like that, you would definitely meet, cool people to either do business with or just to hang with. I would say, you know, you know, restaurants, bars, lounges, parks, and some type of events as well. Those are the sort of places that you want to go to meet to make friends in Nigeria.
Awesome. And brother, how do you spot bad actors? Nigerians who just want to hustle you or scam you, or they're not really your friend like that. How would you spot that, brother, in Nigeria, bro?
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that you should be very aware of. I think it depends. Like, just don't if you're walking on the street and someone just comes to you like, oh, I can, do this for you, I can do that for you, just ignore them. Um, or if someone I think you can tell if someone just seems very desperate, right, IP? Like you could really tell, by the way they move, by the way they talk. However, there are some people that, could seem very sincere and could be, could be scammers. So you definitely want to be careful as regards to that. So I guess it all depends. If you're going to Nigeria strictly for business, I would say what you want to do is that you want to go directly to meet someone or go into like a government establishment, right? So if your main reason going to Nigeria is strictly for business, I would advise that. However, if you're going on a holiday, I would suggest that you know someone that is from Nigeria, or you have a friend who is Nigerian and who has family in Nigeria. That's what I would recommend. Yeah.
Awesome, bro. Awesome, awesome. So, next question for you, bro, is in regards to transportation. So, how does a brother move out there, bro? In Nigeria, is it bus, is it train, is it subway, or is it Uber? Break it down for us, bro.
Also, that's one thing that's really good especially in the city of Lagos. So the everything you mentioned is an option in the city of Lagos. So you have Ubers, you have buses, you have also BRT buses, and just recently they've also introduced trains. So and you also have the ferries. So you can also use like boats, to move around, from the island to the mainland. But I would say for someone who's visiting, I would say your best bet might be the Ubers. You know, the Ubers in Nigeria are very cheap. Um, the last time when I was there, the last time this year, I used Uber for most of my, moving around, and sometimes obviously I my picking up. So yeah, just the Uber app. You don't need to, change it. The same Uber app that you use. in the UK or in the US, it's very yeah, you can use that. You can use that in Nigeria, and it's very cheap as well. Very, very cheap. So yeah, I would say
Okay.
maybe Uber might be your best bet, but you have buses, air conditioned BRT buses moving across the city of Lagos. You've got the cabs, you've got trains, you've got everything. So yeah, the transportation system is pretty pretty developed. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Brother, is that across both Abuja and Lagos? Hello?
Abuja, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello? Yeah, I hear you now.
IP?
Yeah, you
Okay,
hear
yeah,
me?
yeah. So in Abuja, the transportation, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Can I go on?
Yeah, carry on, bro.
Yeah. So in Abuja, the transportation system is not as diverse as Lagos. However, in Abuja, there's less people, right? And I was just watching this morning, the minister of the capital city. So there is train in Abuja, but it's not operational at the moment. But I think by the end of this year, the trains will be operational. So you can definitely use trains, um, you know, um, across the city. However, Abuja has way less traffic than Lagos, and the main mode of transportation, I would say, is cab. So you can use, and you can also get like very cheap cabs as well to move around the city.
Awesome, bro.
But Lagos
Awesome,
is more
awesome,
diverse when it comes to the transportation mode, obviously. Yeah, yeah.
awesome, brother. So next question for you, brother, is so brother, is Nigeria a cash-based society or is it cashless, brother?
Okay. So, like I always say, it depends on where you are. But if you are in Lagos and Abuja, I would say it's 50-50. So, the government is trying to implement a cashless society or a cashman based economy. These two cities, I would say, are the most that are driving that sort of policy. So, cash is still very heavy. However, you can go to a lot of places and use your bank card. However, one thing I did notice in Nigeria is that the last time that I was there is that I noticed that a lot of my foreign bank cards didn't work. Um, you know, and I don't know why that's the case. However, there is a lot of local based fintech that have come into that space, providing services for the population. And this is one thing that I told you about, Nigerians plugging the gap in terms of opportunities. While I was in countries like Ethiopia, Kenya, and the rest, I did notice that a lot of my foreign bank cards did work while I was there. I use a lot of my card to pay for hotels, to pay for stuff at the bar, at restaurants. However, I noticed that in Nigeria it wasn't working, which definitely is not very good because, however, on the positive side, you have local fintechs that have got into that space to provide that sort of solutions for people there. So while in those other countries, your Mastercards and your Visa cards are all the one raking in that money. You have local Nigerians that are providing that service and becoming rich and creating employment. So that's the difference between Nigeria and a lot of these countries. So I would say cash is heavy. However, you can also a lot of businesses also use debit and credit card. So yeah, I would say 50-50.
So, brother, were debit credit cards from the UK, America, Canada work in Nigeria, or do we have to set up for their own Nigerian cards or something?
So, like I said, in not in all cases. So, if you're it
Hello. Can you brothers hear me? Person one in the live stream chat. Can you hear me? You can't hear him or you can't hear me. Okay.
happy.
Right, are you back, Babatunde?
Hello?
Hello, are you
Can you
back?
hear me? Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you dropped off there, brother. We were on the part in regards to
Sorry.
international credit cards.
Okay, yeah. So they work in some places and they don't work in some places. So I would say your best bet is to have those credit cards, especially you can use them like in hotels, like your Sheratons and your Intercontinentals, places like that. However, in a lot of the lounges or restaurants, you wanna either get a debit card, you know, from a Nigerian bank or carry cash. So yeah,
Awesome, bro. And brother, cash is taken everywhere in most places in Nigeria.
in most places, not in all places, but in most places, they even prefer cash. So the more cash, the merrier.
Awesome, bro.
It's a
So,
very
brother,
cash driven society still. Yeah,
okay, bro. So, brother, when it comes to food, right,
yeah.
in Nigeria, brother, is Nigerian food tasty? If so, do you like Nigerian food? And if so, what's your favorite Nigerian cuisine?
IP. When it comes to food, man, I would say no country beats Nigeria when it comes to food, man. The food is amazing. Food is amazing. You live in the UK, IP, so I'm sure you're very familiar with jollof rice, aren't you?
I know friends, brother, who like it a lot. I have come across it before, yes, brother.
Yeah. So is it Nigerian jollof or Ghanaian jollof?
Uh, Ghanaian jollof, bro.
Nah, no, no way, IP. No way, no way, no way, no way. Nigerian jollof is the best, man. Now the food is very tasty, IP. And the one of the good things with Nigeria is that because you have a very diverse, it's a very diverse country with diverse people. You have food from basically every region in Nigeria. So the food is way, way tasty. My my ex partner, she went with me to Nigeria a couple of years ago, and one of the things that she actually, was very impressed was the food. You see, the food, you can't go wrong with food in Nigeria. The food is tasty. Like even if you go to like restaurants that are not like that don't really serve Nigerian food, even just the quality of the food that you eat there is really nice. And that was something that she definitely would, like about our visit to Nigeria. So food in Nigeria is definitely tasty. There's a lot of curry, there's a lot of spice, there's a lot of, you know, diverse ranges of food from rice to everything. So the food is definitely one of the, selling points of the country. The food is amazing. Yeah.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. So, brother, cost of living, right? When you compare cost of living of
Mm.
Nigeria to Australia, right? Which is more expensive, which is more cheaper? Break it down for us, brother. Cost of living wise.
Uh, Cost of living in Nigeria is actually way cheaper than Nigeria. You know what? A lot of people, like I said, there's always this misconception about Nigeria, right? That,
Mm.
it's expensive, it's this and that. Nigeria is actually one of the cheapest countries you can live in Africa. You see, like I've been to about 6 or 7 African countries, IP, and I can tell you that Nigeria is the cheapest of all these countries that I've been to. Just earlier this year, I was in Nigeria, and before that, I was in Ethiopia for like a considerable amount of time. I was there for 4 weeks. And initially, I thought Ethiopia was cheap. It is cheap if you're using the US dollar or Australian dollar. So if you were to compare that to the standard of living in Australia compared to Ethiopia, definitely Australia is more expensive. However, when I went to Nigeria, I realized that Nigeria was actually cheaper than Ethiopia. You see? So,
Hmm.
and I've been to Kenya, I've been to Rwanda, I've been to Uganda. I can tell you that the cost of living in Nigeria is actually way cheaper than any of those countries. It's crazy. And even though there's inflation in Nigeria at the moment, because prices of goods and services have gone up. However, if you, so with like, I'll give you an instance, right? The exchange rate for a dollar at the moment in Nigeria is about 1,000 plus Nigerian naira, right? Like over 1,000 naira. That's for $1, right? When I was in Rwanda last year, it was about the same amount. A dollar to Rwandanese francs was about 1,000 Rwandanese francs, right? That got me a bottle of Coke in Rwanda, literally. In Nigeria, with 1,000 naira, a bottle of Coke will only cost you like 100 naira. So you can actually get like 10 bottles of Coke with like $1, right? So you can literally eat a whole like a full day. Obviously it will be very fancy food, but you can actually eat with $1 in a full day in Nigeria. So that's just to give you the how things are actually cheap in Nigeria. So I would say the standard of living is definitely way cheaper than living in Australia. But however, it depends on your lifestyle. If you're living a glamorous lifestyle and you're going to, fancy hotels or you stay in fancy hotels, you're going to fancy restaurants, you're going to like fancy places, I would say it's at par with what you would get in Australia. However, if you're just living a normal day-to-day life of, an average Nigerian, it's way cheaper than any of those countries that I mentioned that I've been to. So yeah.
So, Bobby, you're saying that we can bring our dollars, pounds, Australian currency to Nigeria, and we'll be living like kings here because it's so cheap.
IP, you be living like a prince, like Prince of Bel-Air. Literally, IP. Literally. If you put like $10,000 to Nigeria, man, that's like 10 million. Ah, man, that's a lot of money. However, like I said, it also depends on your lifestyle. But it is way cheaper than the West. That I can tell you.
Wow, incredible, incredible, bro.
You
So
know,
next, go on, bro.
I just wanted to say with like so the average house here in Australia, like to own a home, on the average is nothing less than $500,000. If you wanna buy a house here in Australia, you have to have at least $500,000. That's on the average of 550, right? In Nigeria, with like $50,000, man, you could own a house. You know, $50,000 can buy you a house. Can buy you a house. Even less than that. You can get like a proper apartment. Everything. So that just shows you the contrast between living in the West and living in Nigeria. Yeah. There are also some
Ah,
houses where you would have to pay $500,000, for. But I'm telling you, like on the average, with $50,000, you can own a house. You know, yeah.
damn, incredible, bro, incredible. So next question for you, bro, is now in regards to safety. So, brother, is Lagos and Abuja safe, brother? Is it safe or is it dangerous, brother? In nighttime, daytime, are they both safe cities, brother? Break it down for us.
I would say they're relatively safe. You know, like if you open the news IP and you hear Nigeria, what you would hear on the news is, oh, terrorism, Boko Haram, blah blah blah. You know all those negative news. However, everyone that I know is still alive in Nigeria. That's crazy. Like I went over this year, and everyone that I know are still very alive. And I've left Nigeria for the past 10 years. So Lagos and Abuja are very, very safe. There are places within the country that might be, not very, that might be unsafe. However, why do you want to go to those parts of the countries anyway? So if you want to go to
Mm,
Nigeria, you want to be in Lagos or you want to be in Abuja. And Lagos and Abuja are very safe. That I can tell you. They're very safe. Yeah.
okay, bro. Okay. So next question for you, brother, now is in regards to tribalism, brother. So obviously, some brothers not being, Nigerian, being born in Nigeria, being raised in Nigeria, could there be some sort of jealousy, animosity, tribalism? Okay, but you're not really Nigerian, or you're not really part of us, even though you're Black American or whatever, or even though you're Nigerian but you're born in Canada. Is that quite prevalent there in Nigeria?
No, no, IP, not at all. Actually, a lot of the not a lot, but some of even the government officials in Nigeria are, you know, I have like dual citizenship. You know, there is a guy who currently works with the president of Nigeria. He's half Nigerian, and I don't know what his other part is, but I believe his dad is Nigerian because he looks biracial. So, and you also have senators, that are biracial. There's this guy, Ben Moy Bruce, he's biracial, like he's a senator. So, nah, I don't think that's really a big deal in Nigeria. As long as your dad or mom is Nigerian, you are Nigerian and you can participate in politics. You can be voted for. You can also, vote as well. So, nah, I don't think when it comes to that aspect, I don't think it's a big deal at all. As long as you are able to you associate with those group, they see you, you speak the language, or you're able to show some level of of what will I say? Like you're able to connect with them. That wouldn't be a problem at all. I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay, brother, would you say that is there racism, brother, towards black people from the Indians, Chinese, and Lebanese people, and other people that are not black there, brother?
Look, IP, just judging from everything that I know and everything that I've seen in my life, I would say it would exist. However, I don't live in Nigeria, and I haven't actually, worked in a setting where my boss was a foreigner. So I don't really have a you know, first class, not a first class, but like a first hand experience as regards to that. But I can definitely say that it does happen. I can tell you that for sure. And like I said, the main reason is the government. Like if there's proper laws as regards to how workers should treat, how employers should treat their workers, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't exist. So it's something that the government, and not just Nigeria, a lot of African countries should definitely work towards to achieve. You can't come to my country and treat my people, bad. It's a reflection of how I am as a government if that happens. So that's unfortunate, but it does exist. That, that I can tell you.
Okay, bro. Shout out to DT for the support. Don't go to Nigeria. don't go to the jungles, that will get you kidnapped. Same as South America, go to Asia or Europe. I'm gonna disagree there, brother. I think brothers need to be exploring Africa. That is, land of opportunity. You can't let the Chinese, Indians, and Arabs, right, just throw their money there and send their people there, and there's nothing for us there. Africa should belong to black people, particularly black men. India belongs to Indian men. China belongs to Chinese men. We can't allow these people just to come in here in Africa and just, use it as their playground. I'm sick of it, bro. Sick of it. Tired of it, brother. So next question for you, brother, is now in terms of culture.
Sorry,
Go on, bro.
sorry, IP.
Yeah.
Just to push back on that comment, and that's a very uninformed comment to make. And I'm sure that brother that made that comment is probably African American, or maybe a black man from the diaspora. And that's the mindset. If you go to those places, you go to India, you go to Japan, you're gonna be a second class citizen. You have like that times I think it was my first trip to Nigeria like about 4 years ago, right? And I found out that everyone on the plane was Chinese. And I'm like, what's going on here? So you have the Indians and Chinese coming into Africa to make money, but you actually have, people that are of African descent wanting to go to these other places, like it's ridiculous. There is opportunities in Africa, IP. I myself, I'm making moves to move back to Africa in the next coming months or years, because I know the sort of opportunities that exist in Africa. You understand? Because a lot of this first world countries, they're already developed. Like there's literally not they literally have all type of services that are already part of their economy. But Africa and a lot of all these other countries that are upcoming, that are developing countries, there are a lot of opportunities that needs to be, that you can render to a lot of the communities there, or the population. How do you become rich? You become rich because you can offer services to people. That's how you become rich, IP. If you think of any billionaire, it's because they're able to render services to a large, demographic of people. That's how you become rich. That's why you have the Chinese, you have the Indians in all these places making tons of money. I met a guy who was from Jordan a couple of days ago, right? And he asked me where I was from. I said Nigeria. Like Nigeria, like wow, like I love Nigeria. People they are rich. You go to places like Dubai, when you tell them you're Nigerian, they look at you a different way, like, whoa, you guys are rich, because they see that wealth, right, in all these places. And a lot of that money is made in those African countries. You see? So it's quite unfortunate, man, that someone would even have that sort of mindset. IP, you know me, I've been to a lot of these countries, man. I've been to Uganda, I've been to Kenya, and I see foreigners own businesses in those countries. The last time I was in Uganda, one of the restaurants that I went to, the owner was Arab. You see, the people out there in these countries, Lebanese, the Chinese, the Indians, they are there in these countries making tons of money. But you are saying, don't go to Africa, don't go to Nigeria, go to Asia to do what? Yeah, are you just going to Asia just because of women, or are you actually going there to provide a solution to the people? It's ridiculous.
I definitely agree with you there. We definitely cannot disregard Africa or the Caribbean too. Black men have to be going there and making moves there, particularly with our stronger currency, pounds, dollars, Australian dollars, and doing something there. We can't, we can't miss our opportunity. I'm my opinion that I think black governments in Africa, should have some sort of quotas or prioritize black businesses, or prioritize Black people coming in to, help out or have businesses there. You can't just sell your country infrastructure to foreigners. So, for example, like South Africa, right? Obviously, I'm an IT bro. Did you know the biggest IT company, right, in South Africa is run by Indians? And I'm thinking, what? South Africa is a Black country. But you look at India, show me a company that's big that's run by Black people in India. So the thing is, right, people are taken from us and we can't take from them. Do you think that they would allow a bunch of Black men to be successful in India or China? Hell no, bro. There'll be a lot of jealousy. They'll be like, who are these Black people coming here to our country? But we're allowing that, right? We're allowing that to happen in our ancestral homelands. That's not flying with me, bruv. At some point, right? At some point, we gotta start being a bit more ruthless, harsh, right, to people that are not us. And I'm for that, bruv. Now, I'm not saying don't respect other people. Of course not. Respect people, but when it comes to making money, when it comes to your people, your ethnicity, people around you, yeah, we gotta put our people first. Wouldn't you agree, Babatunde?
Absolutely, IP. Absolutely. And it's funny because um, you know, like just with what's going on even in the world at the moment, with the rise of Afrobeats, right? So the world is focused on African content, right? The music, the culture, even the film. You see, the government of Nigeria is realizing that and is also prioritizing, some sort of funds towards, towards the movie industry, towards the music industry. You can see that the world is focused on Africa, and that's the truth.
Mm,
Africa has, like, if you look at there's a substance called cobalt. It's a mineral, right?
mm.
In all your smartphones, there is a cobalt element in your iPhone, your smartphones. All of that comes from the Congo, right? Like 80% of that mineral comes from the Congo, right? And you have all these foreign companies, all this, foreign government in those countries mining and getting the majority of those resources. You know, why can't a group of African people or a group of Black diasporans come in and offer that sort of services? But we're busy going to Asia, or there. Well, maybe I'm different. They're busy going to places like Asia and the rest. Nah, because it's funny how people say, "Oh, the Chinese are in Africa, they're doing this, doing that." What's stopping you from coming in? I, for one person, would rather prefer to do business with an African American or Black British than to do business with someone who's, of a different ethnic group. And I'm not trying to say that, I'm racist or anything, but that's just, I'll be more, I would even find more happiness doing that than, So
Mm.
you can't say, oh, the Chinese are in Africa, the Indians are in Africa, they're doing this, they're doing that, whereas you're taking your money elsewhere. You get what I'm trying to say? You don't have to come to Nigeria. Nigeria's not for everyone. But you can go to places like Kenya. You can go to South Africa. You can go to places like Cape Town. Even me myself, I'm planning on getting properties in Cape Town in the next future. You can get properties for as low as 50 grand, 100 grand, and you can put it for Airbnb and make, US dollars. So you're getting it for cheap, but you're putting the same value that property will cost in the US or in the UK. You know, you're getting that same value investing in an African country. You see?
Facts.
So Africa is the future, man, whether you like it or not. So it is if you get in early, then you can reap the reward when when it blows up. That's the future IP. Africa is the future. In the next 10, 20 years, things are going to be way different from the way they are now. So if you get into that space early, you know, just to add into what I'm saying. So there is a city, right, called the Eco Atlantic City, which is land, which is a city being built in Lagos, right? So that area used to be the Atlantic Ocean, you see, but in the past 20 to 15 years, there used to be like a sea erosion, right? So what happens is that the sea erosion was eating up land from the shore, from the shoreline. So what did the government do? The government back then decided that, look, we need to do something about this situation. So they contracted a company, based in Nigeria but owned by a Lebanese guy, a Lebanese investor. His name is um, Chigori or something, French Lebanese guy. So what did they do? They reclaimed about an area of land that is about, I think it's about 10 miles from the ocean. You see? And they're currently building a new city. So, it's a city within a city. You understand? So right now, the city is still very, if you type Eco Atlantic, you'll see it. So right now, the city is still very, in its infant stage. But over time, it's gonna, in the next 10, 20 years, it's gonna be an actual city. So if the Chinese are there early, I think the US government is even building a new embassy. I think they bought land and because I was watching it like maybe last year or something, they bought land and they're actually building a new embassy. And I think that embassy is gonna be one of the most, um, I think they budgeted about a $500 million. I think it might be one of their most, when it comes to like the amount of resources they put towards building an embassy, I think it might be one of the highest, if not the highest. So you can see that there's a lot of interest. You understand? There's a lot of interest in all this, developmental, projects in Africa by even foreign government, like the government of the US. I'm talking about USA, America. So if the Chinese get into that business early, if the Indians get into there early, and in the next 10 years you say, oh, the Chinese are in Africa, the Japanese are in Africa, the Indians are, it's because they can see what you can't see now. You see, so it is what it is.
Awesome, bro. Shout out to Mr. JX for the support. Late, but still supporting. Did the guests cover land ownership for foreigners? How about the infrastructure, especially the electric grids? Interesting. Could you answer those questions, please, bro?
Yeah. So I won't lie to you, IP. Power in Nigeria is a major problem. It is a major problem, and it has been a problem ever since I was a kid. Like it has been a problem. However, there are, recent policies by the government in trying to improve that. So in the long run, I'm guessing, the power infrastructure will improve. And funny enough, even countries like South Africa, where the infrastructure is, I would say, better than Nigeria, is also suffering from a lot of power shortages of recent. I watch a lot of YouTube and I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I follow a lot of channels, and even South Africa is experiencing a power problem. So there is obviously a power issue, but also there's an alternative to that. You can, there's solar. There's a lot of sunlight in Nigeria, so you can power your, you could you could use solar to power your electricity. There's also generators. Those things are some of the challenges are there. However, the Chinese or the Indians don't think about those challenges. Rather, they think about the the opportunities. So while you think about the challenges of power, why you keep feeding your mind with all these challenges, in order for you to invest, the Chinese or Indians don't think about the challenge. What they see is opportunities, and that's why they keep winning. So there is those challenges, but obviously you can work around them. As regards to land, you can buy land as a foreigner in Nigeria. So if you're trying to set up a factory, if you're trying to set up, maybe you want to go into real estate, you want to do all of those things, you can actually buy land. I don't know about other cities, but I know of Lagos. In Lagos, you can buy land. However, land is owned by the government in Nigeria. So the government will give you a lease for 99 years, and that's how it's done. Even if you're local, when you buy land, the land is still a property of the government. However, you are given a lease, for 99 years. So if for any reason the government wants that land, they would have to pay you off in order to they have to pay you the amount of property you have on that land, and also for the land. So that's how it works and I think in most Nigerian cities or states it's the same. However, in Lagos, you can buy land as a foreigner, and you sign a 99 lease, ownership for that land. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, bro. So next question for you, brother, right now. So, culture. So, brother, so is Nigeria a conservative culture, or is it a liberal culture, or is it a mixture of both? Break it down for us, bro.
I would say it's a mixture of both, IP. I would say it's a mixture of both. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like the further north you go, the more conservative it is. The further south you come, the more liberal it is. So I would say it's a mixed bag. Yeah.
Oh, so brother, so is South Lagos and Abuja?
So south is Lagos. Actually, Lagos is in the southwest. So that's definitely, the most southern part of the western part of Nigeria, because Lagos borders the Atlantic Ocean, to the south, you know, and it's within the western region of Nigeria, the west, the southwest. So Abuja is in the north central, let me just say, is in the central part of Nigeria. So the further you go north, the more conservative it becomes. So Abuja is a bit more conservative than Lagos, and that's because of where it is. The location is a bit more central, and it's a bit more conservative. So yeah.
Okay, brother. Brother, when you said liberal, what does that mean for you in Nigerian terms, brother? Can you mind breaking it down for me?
Um, it's becoming way too westernized for me. You know, especially with Lagos. There's this. They want to do everything they see on TV. They want to copy the West. Nowadays you have feminism. Nowadays you have, it's just becoming very westernized. With just, how people behave. So that's what I consider liberal. The cultural aspect is still there, but it's a bit watered now. It's a very secular and very it's a secular a very secular mindset, um, and that'll um, adoption of Western values is becoming very hard. Yeah.
But in the north is very Muslim, right? I'm guessing.
In the north, it's very Muslim. Yeah, yeah. In the north, it's very Muslim. Yeah.
Wow.
Funny enough, the Western Nigeria is literally the most part of Nigeria where it's very, it is liberal, but it's also it could be conservative sometimes. So it's very balanced. It's very balanced in a way. But Lagos is becoming very, very Western. People there, the attitude of the people there, the behavior is becoming very westernized. Yeah, becoming very westernized.
Awesome, bro. So, brother, next question for you, brother. So now is in terms of lifestyle. So, what's the average lifestyle the Nigerians are living there, brother? Is it a high class lifestyle, middle class, or is it poor? What's the average lifestyle like for Nigerians in Nigeria, bro?
I would say it would depend what part of the country you live. In Abuja, which is the capital, there's a lot of rich folks in Abuja, IP, a lot of rich folks. You have a lot of, that's where the government houses, the government sits. The president stays there, the vice president stays there, the House of Assembly, the Senate, the House of Rep, all the ministers are in Abuja. So there is a lot of wealth there, of the embassies, everything is in Abuja. So Abuja is very, there's a lot of wealth in Abuja. And you also have, a lot of the government workers. So it is, I would say to some extent, it is like you find a lot of middle class there, a lot of rich people there. There is poverty there, but I would say in order to live in Abuja, you would have to have some sort of status. Not just anyone can live in Abuja. So there is poverty. However, there is still, a large group of middle class as well. So I would say it is how do I say, um, it's definitely more poverty than, you know, more more wealth. However, I would say it's a medium income country. Yeah, it's medium.
Okay, and brother, the average life of a
Sorry.
passport bro living in Nigeria, right, would be incredible with his currency, right?
Absolutely, IP. If you're a passport bro and you are living in Nigeria, you definitely be, in that group, in that category that I just mentioned, visual Z. You would definitely be, doing well. Yeah. Especially if you lived in a city like Abuja. Nah, Abuja's amazing, man. It is really nice. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, bro. So next one for you, brother, is language, brother. So is English enough to speak in Nigeria, or do we have to learn the Nigerian language?
Nah, you're good with English. Everyone speaks English. English is the official language. Um, Obviously, it is a ethnic country, so you have people speak their local dialects and whatnot. However, um, I guess like if you're in the north, like in Kano and places like that, a lot of those people speak Hausa. So Hausa is, I would say, is the predominant language in those places. However, in places like Lagos and Abuja, you know, English is the language of business there. So with English, you're fine. You don't have to learn any other language aside from English. You can pick up on some of the local dialects while you're there. There's also a lingua franca called Pidgin, which is like I would say, um, it's like a bastardized form of English, like how you have the patois or Creole, So you have the pidgin, which is well spoken by a majority of people in Nigeria. So it's a very, you know, it's a language that everybody can speak, regardless of your level of education. People can understand pidgin. However, with English, you're good. Everybody there speaks English. Yeah, so you're fine just by knowing how to speak English.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. So next question for you, brother, is weather. So how's weather like, brother, in Nigeria, brother, in Lagos and Abuja?
So in Lagos, it's tropical, so it can get really humid and hot sometimes. I remember when I was there, to be honest, I was struggling with the weather. It was very humid. Um, in Abuja, it's not as humid. It's not humid at all. It's dry heat. So in Abuja, you're getting closer to the Sahel region, right? So the Sahel is just underneath the Sahara. So the weather in Abuja is very dry, like dry heat. So during the day it's hot, but not humid, dry. However, in the evening, it's very cool. The weather's, it's breezy, it's cold. So the evening weather is really good. So, and that's because of the climate of that area. So in Lagos, it's humid. In Abuja, it's dry heat. So the weathers are just too wet and dry. That's it. Nothing else.
Awesome, awesome, brother. So next question for you, brother. Before going to the woman part, is brother nightlife. So how is nightlife in Nigeria, brother, in Lagos and Abuja, brother? Is it vibrant? Is it chill? Is it cool? Break it down for me, bro.
Oh man, Nigerians know how to party IP. What else? If you don't have money, don't go to the clubs in Nigeria. Don't don't go there IP. Like it's very, very heavy. Like, and that's one of the problems that I have with the nightlife in Nigeria and just the life in general, especially with Lagos. Like, there's just so much focus on wealth and extravagance. Like everything is just too much, you know. But you don't have to be a millionaire or you don't have to have a lot of money to enjoy the nightlife. So it all depends on where you are, right? So if you're on the island, which is like, where it's considered, the posh area of Lagos, you're definitely gonna spend more than if you're on the mainland. So the nightlife is very vibrant. There's a lot of clubs, there's a lot of bars, lounges. There's a lot of stuff to do. So many stuff to do. So many hotels, so many lounges, bars, restaurants. There's heaps of stuff to do in Lagos, like and Abuja as well. But Lagos more. Lagos offers more in terms of nightlife. So yeah, it's definitely fun. Yeah.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. And brother, so how's the internet speed like, brother, in Lagos and Abuja and strength as IT passport bros?
The internet speed is actually good. I didn't really have any complaints. Yeah, I think it's pretty decent, the internet speed in those two main cities. Yeah.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. So, my brother, as IT bros who aspire to work remotely, is it a spot where we can work remotely, be on the beach? And I'm guessing there are beaches in Nigeria, right? And
Of course.
just chill.
Of course,
Can, can we?
there is a lot of beaches on the in Lagos because Lagos is is a coastal city. And you know what? And that's what Lagos offers because it offers you that, just like um my time in Kenya, right? So the biggest city in Kenya is Nairobi, you see? And Nairobi, you can say Nairobi is very similar to Lagos, but I would um say Lagos is better, and I'll give you why. So in Lagos, right, you have, Nairobi is like the financial capital of Kenya, right? Lagos is the financial capital of Nigeria. However, Nairobi is the capital city of Kenya. Lagos is not the capital city of Kenya, you see. However, Lagos offers more in terms of, you know, that whole experience because it is a coastal city. If you want to go to the coast in Kenya, you'd have to travel all the way to Mombasa. You see, Lagos offers you that both, offers that coastal experience and also that vibrant and economic, um, economic opportunities as well. So, Lagos is definitely where you want to be in Nigeria if you're a passport, bro. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, bro. So, brother, great breakdown so far. Before we go on to the woman part, brother, do you want to take a 2-minute break, brother, and get some water, or are you good?
Nah, let's go for it. Let's get it.
Okay, brother. Awesome. Let me just read the super chats here real quick. Shout out to Mr. JX for the support. Thank you, bro. Late but still supporting. Thank you, bro, for this. Oh, yeah, so I read that. Shout out to Mr. Marley with the vibes. Shout out to you, Marley. We got a Canadian here in the building. Africa is a beautiful continent. However, do your due diligence. Make sure you do a lot of research. Because business in Africa is nothing like doing business in the Western world. different type of mentality. Is that a true and fair statement there, Mr. Babatunde?
Nah, it's 100% correct, IP. Like I said, you don't necessarily have to do business in Nigeria if you like. If you're not, if you're not comfortable with, with some of the laws or policies, you should definitely do your research. Nigeria is still a very difficult place to do business. There's a lot of you know bureaucracy. There's a lot of yeah. However, there is high return of investment. So it all depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for a high return of investment, or you're actually just looking for someone which is a lot easier to do business? For me, I think Rwanda is a very good spot to do business. It's very easy to set up a business in Rwanda. Very easy. I think it's like the second uh when it comes to ease of doing business, it's the second on the continent. So it's very easy to set up business in Rwanda. However, what sort of return are you looking for, and what sort of investment are you willing to? How far are you willing to go? Like, what are you willing to invest in? You see, so Nigeria there is issues, um, but there's also it's also very rewarding, and that's why you have all this companies there, like all this foreign governments and foreign companies in Nigeria is because of the even though it's difficult to do business, however, there's return of investment is very high. So he is right. You should do your due diligence if you want to invest anywhere in Africa. Either it be Nigeria, either be South Africa, either be anywhere. You have to obviously do your due diligence, but there is opportunities there. So, it is what it is.
Awesome, awesome, bro, awesome. Shout out to Mr. DT for support. Appreciate you, DT. Which more time me out and explain why that was me, DT. I timed you out because you just writing a lot of comments in the chat, or the shops in the flow. Got a bit negative as well. And yeah, so you will have a chance to call in, bro. But I've got to see my questions first, so you can call in if you agree or disagree with any comments there, DT. Thanks for the support, DT. Much appreciated, bro. Shout out to Mr. JX for the support. Much appreciated, JX. Much appreciated. Can our guest speak on difference between the three major tribes, cultures, traditions? How would you go about being reconnected with your tribe as an African American? That's a great question there, JX. Fire away, Beverton there.
Okay, so obviously the three main ethnic groups. I don't just like to use that word tribe. I think it's very, it's not a very good word. It has its roots in slavery and colonization. So I think the word ethnic group is a more refined or much, um, is a better word to use because ethnic group literally means people, there's people that share the same culture, religion, way of life, and whatnot. Ethnic group. So the three main ethnic groups in Nigeria are the Yoruba, the Hausa, and the Igbo. Um, so the Yoruba are mostly in the southwest, which comprises of Lagos and all the other cities, all up onto the southwestern part of Nigeria. So the Yorubas are very they're everywhere. And there's a lot of them in the UK. I'm sure you've come across a lot of them.
Hmm.
They're very driven by education. A lot of even here in this country, a lot of the you know the doctors are of the Yoruba ethnic group. They're also big in IT. Um, so there's a lot of them all over the world. There's a lot of there's strong Yoruba presence in Brazil. Um, you know, a lot of the Brazilians see themselves as Yorubas, especially the Black Brazilians. There's the Yoruba culture is practiced there, the Yoruba spirituality. You have Shango, you have Ifa, you have all these Yoruba pantheons and Orishas as well. So and also in the Caribbean as well, places like Trinidad and Tobago, Cuba. There's also a lot of Yoruba influence in some parts of America. So the Yorubas are very when it comes to culture. I think even a lot of the Afrobeat songs that you listen to, a lot of the artists and a lot of what they say is actually in Yoruba. So Yoruba is definitely there's um, a lot of the cultural export from Nigeria at the moment is Yoruba. You also have the Igbos who are from the southwest, southeast. They're also very visible, like in everywhere as well. In the US, UK, they're involved in IT, sports, and but the Hausas are mostly you don't find them a lot abroad. You find them in mostly like Muslim or Arab states. So you find them in Saudi Arabia. You find a lot of them in the UAE. I remember there was a time you had a brother who was Canadian on the stream about UAE. He did mention that as well.
Hmm.
People from northern Nigeria. He was referring to the Hausa people. So the richest black man in the world is of the Hausa ethnic stock. He is an Hausa man, Aliko Dangote. So they're also but they're mostly in government, mostly like also involved in business as well. So those are the three main ethnic groups that make up the largest percentage of the country. So obviously, if you either of those groups, you can definitely there's a lot to learn. They have a lot of culture. There's a lot of you know thing you can take from how they move. So obviously, if you take a DNA test and you find out that you have a large percentage from any of those groups, it's definitely positives that you can draw from them because they're mostly very successful both locally and international.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for that breakdown there, bro. Okie dokie. So, shout out to Mr. DT for the support. Thank you, DT, for the support. Much appreciated, bro. Fifth time tonight, DT. Salute to you, brother. So I just found your channel. But maybe I was mistaken about what it was. I'm pro-Black American. My bad if I disturbed the African King. It's not a problem, DT. It's all good, bro. And I'm sure the guest here doesn't have any problem with you, bro. But thank you for the support, brother, and of course for clarifying things up, bro. But stay on, brother. We will get you on the panel. We want to run through a couple more questions, DT, and then you can call in and obviously disagree, agree, whatever, brother. So it's all good, brother. And of course, the channel here is a passport channel. We want to touch upon every country in the world for Black men, women, culture, how things work in various countries. And but yeah, of course, feel free to chime in, brother, in the future. And obviously, brother, we will get you on the channel for an interview as well about Okinawa in the future, bro. I think I messaged you on IG, brother. If you could check your DMs, brother, that'd be great. Awesome. So let's get straight into it, brother. So, brother, woman, okay? So that was a very interesting hour and 40 minutes in regards to the first part of the stream, brother. But brother, so Nigerian woman, brother, right? So I say my first question to you, brother, is are Nigerian women checking heavy for Black American men, Black British men, Black Australian men, Black Canadian men, essentially, brother, Western Black men, brother? Breaking up me, bro.
um I wouldn't really say they're checking heavy, but if you're a Western brother, you would do well in Nigeria. That I can tell you. If you're a Western
And why is
brother,
that?
you would. Well, I feel like Western men would do well in any country in Africa or around the world, to be honest. If you're Western, like if you're American, if you're Black British, if you got that swag, if you got that, if you have that, that persona, especially most importantly, if you got that money. Most especially if you got that money, I see you will do well in Nigeria. That's for sure. Yeah, you will do well in Nigeria.
Okay.
So it's all about the bread in Nigeria. Unfortunately, I see the women there. It's all about the bag, you know. Yeah.
Wow. So let me ask you, right? So, in terms of Nigerian chicks, right? Now I was of the assumption that because Nigeria is a religious country, that the women there are calm, traditional, they're innocent, but it appears to me that I may be wrong in my research there, brother. So, brother, you know, tell me about the personality, brother, of the average Nigerian chick. So, number one, they love money. Okay, I think we've established that. Um,
Mm.
but would you say, brother, there's more bad women than good women? Would you say that Nigerian women, you gotta be very careful, brother, in dealing with them? Break it down for me, bro.
I could just take it this way. I'm Nigerian, and I'm still very careful when dealing with Nigerian women. I think you have to be extra cautious if you're dealing with a Nigerian woman. They do like money. I think that's been established. Women generally like money everywhere in the world, but I just think in Nigeria it's a bit more extreme. Uh, but also it all depends on uh, which part of the country you are. You know, so like I always say, women in the north are usually more conservative. You see, however, the most refined of them, or the most refined of those women, are usually preserved for their people. I don't know if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So the best of the best women in northern Nigeria are reserved for northern men. You see? So they're usually more conservative, they're usually Muslim as well. And they I don't think they're that money hungry. Obviously you will still find women that, need money. But when the further, like I said, the further south you go, the more liberal it gets. And in Lagos, I'm not sure you can find a decent girl. Like you'd have to do your due diligence, to find someone proper. Because I went to uni in Nigeria, IP, and I can tell you, while I was there at the University of Lagos, it was horrible. Dating was
Ooh.
horrible. Yeah, nah. You couldn't date a girl if you were a student back then. You couldn't, because it was almost impossible to have a girlfriend because they were all just money conscious. Then you had, brothers that came in that were like, working class, or some brothers that just came in from, the diaspora and just were looking for a good time. They would come to the schools and, pick up girls, and, so that is very, very prominent in Lagos. A lot of the girls there, young girls there, nah, yeah, they're probably being pro at one time or the other, you know. So you can find women, but you definitely would have to do your due diligence, to find good women in Nigeria. That's for sure.
Brother, can we unpack your experience in the University of Lagos, brother? So you're telling me that um, women there were so money hungry that they were dealing with a lot more older men outside of university, or it's just the fact that they just didn't like men that had less money than them. Break it down for me, bro.
So it was just a function of what you can do for me rather than how you feel about me. You see? So
Mm.
if you were a student, right, and you were
Mayday, Mayday, check one two, check one two. You there, brother? Funny how we're speaking about the real stuff, right? And then this happens. This is what I mean, Keisha. The Matrix. Oh man, he'll be back soon. Babatunde, you there? Probably technical issues, but he'll be back, brothers. But great stream so far, man. Great stream so far. It is 5 a.m. over here in the UK. 5 a.m. Bruv. I'm getting sleepy. I'm getting sleepy, bruv. Where's the brother at? Let me message him. All right, he's dropped off. All right. He'll be back. He'll be back. Great stream so far. Great stream so far. Okay, he's back. Babaton, are you good?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. So, Bobby, you dropped off. We were on the university part, where what you can do for her.
Yeah. So it's all about what you can do for me, IP. You know, I remember then I used to have this girl, man. She was pretty. She was very pretty. She looked like she was, a Blasian. You know. Yeah, I feel like she was pretty, man. She looked Blasian, man. Like she had this sort of Asian face. She was light skinned, pretty. She had like she was pretty, I feel. And you know, we were dating, and but then I had like two girlfriends. So I had her, and I had another one, right? Anyway, she she sort of found out that I was seeing another girl, and she she became upset, right? Can you hear me?
Hmm. Loud and
So
clear.
when I went back to, so I had an issue with the other girl that I was seeing, and then I had to then go back to her trying to beg her to to give me another chance. And she said, "Look, um, the guy also said what ethnic group was the Blasian? She was from she was Edo, Benin. I'm reading the comments. She was Edo, yeah, and she was like, "Look, I get it that I can get back with you, but the thing is that what are you doing for me though? Like, like, and then I didn't have much. I was a student. Like, what can I do for? I can do much for you, you know. So it's all about, even if you're a student, like it's not like they can date you if you're a student, but it's all about what can you do for me rather than oh, you know what, we can have a future together, we can grow together, we can finish school and get work, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. So no, she wasn't Igbo. I'm just reading the comments. It was in Mali with the vibes. Nah, she wasn't Igbo, she was Edo. So it's all about what you can do for me, IP, and that's why a lot of them would date older men. And
Mm.
yeah, and some were actually just pros, IP. Even I had girls then in my class, they were pros. Like they were literally just sleeping with men for money. Um, yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
what is going on? So, bro, why are women moving like that, brother? So, but would you say that, is there something off with the country? No, I can't. No, that's not the right question there. But is there something? But wait, is it a cultural thing? This money hungry obsession that
I
Nigerian
think
women have?
I don't know. I think it's social political as well, social political, and it's social culture as well. I feel like with some ethnic groups in Nigeria, The love of money is just ridiculous. It's just obsessive. You know, um, there's a particular group within Nigeria that has this love for money. I won't mention name. I won't mention name. If you're familiar with Nigerians, you would know who they are. They're just obsessed with money, and their men and women are just obsessive. Like there's an obsessive, compulsive problem with money. You know. Um. Yeah. Nah, that's the truth. So, and maybe sometimes when you're within that particular group, there might be a tendency that they might, that sort of behavior, um, you know, um, yeah, groove zone. I don't know, yeah, but yeah, I won't mention names. So I feel like, yeah, it is social, economic, but it's also social, it's also cultural as well. Certain groups just tend to like more than certain groups. In the north, people do like money as well, like, but they're not as money crazy as in the south. you know so it's also social political, like I said, the economy, whatnot, but the women there are just, I don't know, like I said, there's also a bit of western, um you know influence as well, because they watch TV, they see women, they see all this, basketball wives, they see things like, you know all the shows on TV, I don't want to mention names, but you know what I'm talking about. So
Mm.
they want to use the latest iPhones, they want to wear the latest wigs, they want to, it's just crazy. Like it's just, so the love of money is definitely a problem amongst Nigerian women. That I can tell you. Yeah.
So can we, so in your opinion, right, can we find a good wife in Nigeria, or is that hard in 2024? If it's not hard, how do we go about finding a wife brother in Nigeria, in your honest opinion?
You can, however, it has to be outside the city. That's my recommendation. Like, if you want to find a wife in Nigeria today, if you want to find a woman that is from, let's say, if she's from the, is from the southwest, if she's Yoruba, right? I would suggest you go outside the city of Lagos. Perhaps you go a bit further interland, maybe to a place like Ibadan, which is another big city in Nigeria. Women there are usually way more conservative than women in Lagos. You know, if she's from the north, if you're Muslim, even better for you. Because you might, there's a chance that you might find a conservative Muslim woman that might be that you might find that might be wifeable. It's not like they're not corrupt as well. They are, but I think religion and also society also plays a role in how they see life. So you can find, but you have to do your due diligence. You'd have to, engage her. You'd have to be within Nigeria, because you don't want to get a woman and she's a pro, or she's a hoe, or she's been hoeing all her entire life, and and not just the fact that she's promiscuous, but also she can, if she's the type that is always money hungry and she wants to live the flashy life, or she's used to that old, flashy lifestyle. Because in especially in Lagos IP, there's a lot of street money as well.
Mm.
I don't want to. Yeah, there's a lot of street money. So you find these guys, man, that do a lot of, that are involved in all this. Let me just say, in the computer part, in the, if I know these guys that are involved in the, in the computer game, let me just put it that way. So there's a lot of street money. You see, and these guys, man, they go off, man. You know, they have like big parties. They're in the clubs. They're popping like 20 bottles of rosé. They're popping like 50 bottles of NSC. How do you compete with that, IP? You know, they're flying the girl to Dubai, all expense. Gucci bag, bro. Like, there's a lot of that, man. Like it's crazy, man. You know what I mean? So
It's funny you say it, bro. Because I heard that a lot of Nigerians do this trick, bro. It's particularly in Houston, bro. But Houston, Texas, in America, they love tricking on chicks, bro, and they're known for that, bro. So I'm not surprised as to how they also do that in Nigeria too. Like Nigerian dudes in the West are known for tricking, bro, big time.
bro, big time IP. They don't play, man. Honestly, man, they don't play, man. And that's why even across Africa, right? Nigerian men have a reputation. You see, if you go to Kenya, it's the same thing. Oh, they all want Nigerian men. Why? Because they know how to. I don't know. I don't know what it is with Nigerian men and just spending, just what's the word? You know,
Tricking.
yeah, it's crazy. Simps. That's it. That's the word. Simping. It's crazy, man. And that's just how it is in Nigeria. IP. If you're speaking to a chick, you must be ready to spend the bag.
So, brother, right? So, unless I'm mistaken here, right? But I was doing my research today, right? And it says Nigeria is a religious country. A lot of Muslims, a lot of Christians there. So I'm assuming that it should be easy to find a wife there. The women there should be innocent majority. But brother, is that not the case? Despite being very Muslim and very Christian, women there are not innocent, brother. There's a lot of
Nah,
high body count. There's high body count black Nigerian chicks, brother. What?
very high, very high body count IP. You know what? I've been to Ghana, and I can tell you that Ghanaian women are a bit more conservative compared to Nigerian women. You know, Ghanaian women are way more conservative compared to Nigerian women. You know, it is religious on the outside. Like people go to church, people go to mosque, people are Muslim, but nah, that's just that's just on the surface. That's just on the surface, man. Like the women there have high body count. You know, like even girls at school, like young girls that are uni. Especially like cities like Lagos, like cities in the southeast. Places like Port Harcourt, where it's like oil-rich state. Where you have a lot of expats. Europeans, and nah, it's just it's just filthy. It's
Oh,
just filthy. Yeah, yeah. You can't find women IP. It's not like you can't find you can't, but you'd have to definitely do your due diligence. I reckon it'll be easier to find decent women in Ghana or you know or Uganda or Rwanda or Ethiopia than you would find in Nigeria. Even in those countries, man, you still have to do your due diligence. You would have to be there long enough, you know. But I feel like it would be easier to find in those countries than that you would be able to find in Nigeria. But Nigerian women are beautiful. Uh, they're very driven. They're very smart. You know, a lot of them do well. In foreign universities like in the U.S. and the U.K. They're smart, intelligent, and they can be very Western as well. I think a lot of them are also imbibe that Western values as well. So they're very bossy. They're very, in your face sometimes. So yeah, it's not just about the love of money also, but also just the cultural and not cultural, but just the personality aspect as well. These days. So you can definitely find good women, but you definitely have to do your due diligence to get one.
hold on, brother. Shout out to JX here for the support. How do the three ethnic groups, women, differ from each other? Who would the speaker recommend amongst the three? That's a great question there, bro.
Okay, so I might be biased. to that question. So, okay, so you're speaking about Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. So with the Yorubas, right? Um, they usually have very these days things are changing though. It's not as it used to be. They usually, the women that are actually, the upbringing are usually very cultured. You know, they usually with the Yorubas, right? You have a mix of both Christians and Muslims. So it's like almost 50 50 what do you call it? Like 50-50, Muslim Christian amongst the Yorubas, and in terms of Christian and Muslim. So you could meet a girl who has like, foundations of, Islamic upbringing or Christian upbringing. But when it gets to the university, things can go left. You understand? Yeah. So you have that mix amongst the Yorubas. They're usually very cultured. I would say the ones that are the interland, not from Lagos, but in the interland of the Yoruba, region, you might find them to be a bit better than the ones you'll find in Lagos, which is like the main city. With the Hausas, they are predominantly Muslims. And like I said, the best of them are reserved for the Hausa people, you know. So amongst the Hausas, you also have a subgroup called the Fulani. So the Hausa Fulani. The Fulanis are usually distinct, they have distinct features, they look like Ethiopians as well. They look like that, from that Onish side of Africa, they have like very narrow faces, straight noses. So they have those sort of features as well. Um, they're usually very reserved, Muslim. You can date them, but you would have to be Muslim. You see, that's just the that's just the thing with those ones. With the Igbos, they're predominantly Christians, and they're usually very a bit similar to the Yoruba, but I think they're a bit more. I think they've imbibed perhaps the Western values more than, of those three groups. Um, so it all depends on what you're looking for. Me personally, if I was to marry a Nigerian woman, she would have to be from my ethnic stock, just, for my, you know, for reasons best known to me. She would have to be Yoruba. But if I was to recommend, I would say either Yoruba or Hausa. Yeah, yeah, that's what I would say.
Interesting, brother. So, brother, um, interesting there, brother. So, let me ask this then, right? So, hmm. So, brother, do you personally see yourself marrying a Nigerian woman, or are you looking towards Rwanda and Ghana? As keep it 100 with me, brother.
Personally, I'm looking towards the east. I won't lie to you, IP. Personally, I'm looking towards the east, but I'm not against also marrying a Nigerian woman if if she has what I'm looking for. But personally, I'm looking towards the east for that. Yeah, as regards to that. Yeah.
Okay, brother, you ain't messing Nigerian shit, brother. Keep it real, brother. Oh man, shout out to JX for the support. How prevalent and accepted is polygyny for non-Muslims?
What did he say?
Oh, so he says here, how prevalent and accepted is polygamy for non-Muslims in
Oh
Nigeria?
yeah, yeah. So you wouldn't get away with that if she is Igbo. They usually, but I think amongst the Yorubas, you might find women that might be acceptable to. I think the Yorubas are a bit different though. Like it's not really about religion. It's more about culture. You know, the Yorubas are very very liberal when it comes to religion. They're not really too religious. I don't know how to say it. So within a Yoruba family, you could find someone who's a Muslim. Like my dad was Muslim. My mom is Christian, right?
Hmm.
And I have siblings who are Muslim, I have Muslim siblings who are Christian. So religion doesn't really play a big part amongst the Yoruba. So you can actually get away with that, you know. So even if she's Christian, it's just a bit more cultural, like, you know, because I have a neighbor where I stay back home. The man is Christian and he has two wives, and they're both Christians as well. So you can get away with that, you know, amongst the Yorubas, I think. I think, you know, with the Hausas, definitely, you know, it's part of their culture. The men there have multiple wives. With the Igbos, I'm not sure, nah, because they're a bit more Christian, yeah. And the culture, I don't think it's really big in that culture, polygamy.
Awesome, bro. Brother, so, brother, we had a time up, brother. It is entirely up to you. Do you want to go on for another half an hour, 35 minutes, or do you want to wrap it up, brother? It's
Yeah,
entirely up
yeah,
to you.
sure, we can go. We can go another half an
Okay,
hour.
brother. Okay. So, brother, I wanted to ask you. So, body count, brother. Brother, so, but would you say the average Nigerian woman, brother, has a high body count?
Like I said, IP, it depends where she's from.
Hmm.
I always have to put that disclaimer, you know, where is she from? Is she from the north? Is she from the south? It's not like people in the north don't have high body count. They do, because there's prostitution also in the north. You see, so it all depends. It all depends on, you know, what type of environment she is. Where did you meet her? You know, she. I do think, on the average, the women in the south have high body count, or maybe medium. You know, maybe five, six, seven, eight bodies. You know, I do think they do. However, if she's in a long term relationship, maybe she's at uni and she had one boyfriend all that time, and she's not the type that, you know, that messes about, then her body can be low. So it depends. You can't find ones who have low, but you can find ones who have high. But what I know, having, you know, studied at the university in Lagos, without the women are moving there, bruh, like, yeah, yeah.
Wow, brother. I thought Nigerian women were innocent. I'll be with you, brother. I just thought, because obviously, seeing them, in church, seeing how they move in the UK, I'll just seeing how religious they are. I would have thought they were innocent, but is that a facade? Flipping heck, bro.
That's a facade, I feel. That's a facade. Right? There was a time I used to go to this church, right, back in Nigeria, right, and I used to think the girls, because there were a lot of young girls then around my age at the time. I used to go to the church. I used to think they were holy, man. I'm like, man, these girls are holy. They sing. They're in the choir. I was wrong, I feel. These girls are on the streets.
What, bro?
These guys are on the streets, I feel. I'm like, damn, you know.
Yo, this is insane.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, man. These guys are on the streets, man. Shit. Yeah. Nah. It's yeah. But like I said, you know, there's still good people there. Lots of good people there. So it all depends on how you're willing to go. If she's in the West, I would say avoid her. Uh, yeah, she's in the West. But she could still be in the West and still be very decent. But I know there's a lot of Nigerian women, females in the UK. I will avoid those ones. That's for sure. Yeah.
Oh, so, have you heard some things about them when in your
Yeah,
time in Nigeria?
I've
Hmm.
heard things about them. Yeah, I've heard things about the ones in the UK, man. I'll be avoiding those ones. That's for sure. Yeah.
What have you heard, bro?
Out there just moving, you know. I had a lot of them single households, or not single, like they I've had a lot of stories, you know, how they, funny enough, even those ones that I've had, stories that I've had, are usually the ones that even came from Nigeria, that weren't even born there, you know. How they, put their partners in trouble with the law, and claim single parenting so they can get, some sort of, um, you know, stuff from the government, some sort of subsidies from the government. They're just moving mad over there in the UK. So I've heard a lot of stories, and yeah, I just wouldn't be messing with any at all. Yeah, over there, especially in the UK. Yeah, I've read so many stories.
Wow. Um, wow. So, brother, feminism, right? Brother, is feminism a problem amongst Nigerian women in Nigeria, bro?
It is growing, IP. It's growing crazy. Feminism, it is growing, especially like I always say in the South. In the South, it is growing, especially in Lagos, man. I don't know. There's something about Lagos, man. That's just, I'm just getting this old, very, Western vibe there. It is growing. That I can tell you, man. It is growing. Like feminism is definitely growing. Sometimes because like I said, I'm very, I want to say active, but I see a lot. I see a lot of what is going on in Nigeria because I follow a lot of Twitter handles. So a lot of Facebook pages, Instagram pages. So I see that there's this very constant push for feminism and Western ideas uh, out there. So feminism is definitely growing. Like even now, you see that with the banks in Nigeria, a lot of the banks now have like female CEOs, which is good. There's nothing, I don't have anything against that. But you can see like then you read comments like, "Oh, go girl, woman power," where it's a woman's world now. I see a lot of comments like, "Man, like there's no need for all of like it's good that women are taking more leadership roles, but why all this very feminist comments, so it's definitely growing. I can see that it's on the rise. Yeah.
Brother, you mentioned an expat city in Nigeria. What's it called?
Oh, that's Port Harcourt. Yeah, Port Harcourt.
Portugal.
Yeah,
Okay,
Port Harcourt. Yeah, Port. Yeah.
okay. So, brother, let me ask this, brother. So, so Europeans are coming there, Arabs coming there, Chinese are coming there to work there for the old companies. I'm assuming, brother.
Yes, 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 yes. So Port Harcourt, so Shell has been in Port Harcourt for like decades. So a lot of I think Shell is the main firm in Port Harcourt that does a lot of the exploration. So you have a lot of experts in Port Harcourt, especially to service the oil industry there. So obviously, there's a lot of services that surrounds oil exploration. So you have all these companies domiciled in Port Harcourt. So it's one city that is very expert heavy in Nigeria. So you have all these experts, um, doing a madness in Port Harcourt. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah, Port Harcourt is
So,
known.
brother,
Mm.
so it's known for what? Sorry.
Yeah, it's known for the extreme nightlife and and lack of a better word, pros. Let me just put it that way.
So, brother, are you telling me that the expat dudes are running through Nigerian women in Portugal?
Of course they are.
Jeez, what's going on, bruv? Brother, so brother, would you say expats there are bringing in Western culture and that's spreading the feminism and all that stuff? Is it coming from Portugal, brother, or is it a wider scheme? Maybe um, the American media is so big in Nigeria. Why is it becoming so westernized like that, brother? What's the cause of it?
I would say it is the Western media. I don't really think it's the experts per se, because women, man, women would always go where there's money. So I do think there's a large influence of Western media. There's and even growing up, it's just now that Nigeria is actually with the music and everything else that we're imbibing a lot of our, growing up, and everything that I was watching on TV was, from America. The music that I listened to, the mostly rap, Tupac, Biggie, a lot of the, actors that I was seeing on TV, they were mostly like from the US, you know. So it's just now that you're having this renaissance of, actual, you know, local content or local culture being exported overseas. But growing up, everything was, everything that was fed to us was, was pretty much from the West, both American and British, but I'll say American more. Yeah.
Wow. So, brother, are Nigerian women on average submissive and feminine, brother? Or that's again a case by case basis? That's not really a standard for Nigerian chicks.
I think it's a case by case basis. One thing with Nigerian women is that once you have the bag, she might, you might find some level of cooperation with her. You know, it's all about the bag, IP. Yeah, once the bag is, bagging, I think cooperation becomes, way, it becomes a bit more, yeah. So if you're not doing too well, man, the corporation might, yeah, you know, but they can be, but it depends on the individual, yeah.
Yeah, interesting, bro. So, brother, for dudes who are very interested in Nigerian chicks, right, and they want to meet one, how best to do so? Is it online dating? How's that? The Tinder,
I
Hinge?
wouldn't I wouldn't recommend online dating for Nigerian women in any way, any way, shape or form, except you're looking for a good time. If you're looking for a good time while in Nigeria, I would recommend that. However, if you're in Nigeria specifically to find Nigerian women, or maybe let's say you live in Nigeria, you work there, or you got a business there, you can't find the same women. Of course, I would say the best bet would be someone introducing you to someone, like to a mutual friend. That I would recommend, and that even goes for me. Like if I want to meet a girl, a proper woman in Nigeria, I would go through someone. You know, you
Wow.
know, yeah. That's what I was saying. You can still find distant women there, but I'm just saying like maybe compared to other countries or places, yeah, I think you would have to definitely do your due diligence. Get to know her, date her for a while, see how she is, and before you consider taking things forward.
So,
So
brother, so we can't go to a museum or wine tasting spot or the park, cold approach. That's not the way to do it. Damn.
you can do those things. Like I said, you can do those things, but you don't really know what she's about.
Hmm.
And Nigerian women are beautiful. IP. Women in Nigeria are beautiful. Like you find all types of skin tones, body shape, everything. So the beauty is definitely not a problem. It is there. They're beautiful, they're educated, they're smart, you know. But if you want a long-term partner, it goes beyond the surface. You know, you want to get to know her proper. You want to know where she's from. You want to know a bit about her background. You could go to a wine tasting and find a very pretty, attractive woman that you can talk to, and she might like the way you talk. You're British, IP. It's got a nice voice. It's got this British accent. Yeah. You know, she will like that. She would like that, obviously. But what's she about? Was she a pro when she was at school? Like what was her? I'm trying to say, you don't know those things. Sometimes they don't matter if she's a good person. You know. But IP, I know you're looking for a virgin. I don't know about that, IP. You might probably have to do your due diligence to find one in Nigeria.
No, that's insane, bro. So, brother, who is the most beautiful? So, brother, like, rank it for me from top to bottom, right? The most beautiful ethnic groups, brother, in Nigeria, brother. Try and be fair here, brother. I know you're Yoruba, right? So, Don't to be fair, brother, but if it is Yoruba, it is what it is, brother. But break it down for us,
Yeah.
brother.
It depends on what you're into, IP. It depends on what you're into. I would
Just
still
in
say
terms of
Yoruba.
looks, brother, in terms of like overall looks, brother, who's from 1 to 3? So the main tribes are Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba, right? So ranking from 1 to 3,
Okay,
beautiful to least
okay.
beautiful, brother.
This is what I would do. Rather than ranking it by 1 to 3, I'll just give you the sort of characteristics that they have. So then you can
Okay.
make your own. You can make your own. You can infer, or you can make your own judgment based on that. So with the so I'll start with the Hausa and the so in the Hausa have, it's not a subgroup of the Hausa, but within that space you have the Hausa Fulani people, right? So the Hausa usually are dark, slender, you know. The Fulani, however, are usually a bit fair skin, fair skin. You have them also in Guinea. They're pastoral people. They move around. So you have them in West Africa. You have them in Central Africa. You even have them in places like Ethiopia and the rest. So they usually, you know, slender. You know, they have that sort of um, honest look sometimes. When I mean honest, like they have that sort of Somali Ethiopian look sometimes. Um, so they have that type of look. Um, yeah. With the Yorubas have more how would I say it? The typical beautiful African American woman would look like a Yoruba woman, you know, big behind, like thick body, thick lips, like beautiful face. I don't know if you know this chick called Thames. She's a singer.
No, I
Thames.
don't. No.
Oh wait. Have you ever heard that song? I don't know if you know the song by Wizkid. What's that song called? Um, I can't remember now. But she
How
was
do
in
I
that
spell it?
video. Huh?
How do I spell it?
Tems. Thames.
Okay, interesting. Not my type, brother, based on what I see here, but okay, interesting.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
look like that? That's a pass, bro. That's a pass, bro, for me.
Well, some brothers are into that. So that's what a typical Yoruba girl would look like, and down like body wise, yeah, you know. The Igbo are usually most times fair skin as well. Um, let me see if I can start an example that you can check up real quick. Um, who can I think of that is Igbo? Um, Anyway, I can't think of no one comes to my mind at the moment. I'm trying to look for someone who's a celebrity that is Igbo. Okay, so there's a new song by Davido. Um, if you look up on Google or YouTube, there's a new song by Davido. The girl in that video is Igbo, and that's what they usually look like. Yeah. So
Interesting.
yeah, so that's what they usually look like. So yeah, that's the three main group, and you also have and a notable mention is the people they're also from the south, or a different ethnic stock. They're called the Efik Ibibio. Efik Ibibio, they're one of my favorite women in Nigeria. They know how to cook.
BBO. BBO.
Ibibio or
Ah,
Efik. Yeah, yeah. They know how to cook. They're fine. They're one of my favorites. I won't lie. If she's not a Yoruba woman, she's probably an BBO.
So you see yourself marrying an BBO chick?
I see myself marrying an Ethiopian IP. But if she's not Ethiopian, she could be Yoruba or a BBO, yeah. or maybe a Fulani woman, but yeah, I don't know. They're usually Muslims, so yeah. So one of those three. Oh god.
So you could marry a Muslim chick, right? You're okay with that?
If she's okay with me, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm not really very big on religion per se. If she doesn't have a problem me being, because I don't consider myself either Christian nor Muslim. So if she's fine by that, then that's fine. Yeah. If she's okay with that, yeah.
Awesome. Hold on. Shout out to Terry Jr. Live for the support. Why do so many Nigerian women have large balloons? Genetics.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
Nice,
Yeah,
bro. That's the only way you can
yeah,
explain
that's the way
that.
to explain it. Yeah.
All right. So how about you brothers call in? We got 10 minutes left before we wrap it up. So I'm giving you a time to call in if you have any questions for our guests. If you can't call in, your question is super chat or PayPal donation. So interesting stream so far, brother. It impressed me, brother, that you don't really rate Nigerian chicks like that, brother. Which is okay. I understand why. I see Thames over here. I don't rate her at all, bro. This is not my type, bro. Facial wise, thickness wise, this ain't my type, bro. I'll keep it real with you. And I just don't feel like, based on what I've seen in the UK, Nigerian chicks are not up there when it comes to the best looking black woman. Do you agree, brother?
No, I would disagree, IP. I think Nigerian women are amongst the most beautiful black women. And this is the thing, right? Because I lived in Lagos, right? And I went to the University of Lagos. And I think that is where, because a lot of the girls that and I remember even with with my ex, right? We used to have these arguments, because she would always say that a lot of the African American women are usually biracial or have some white in them. And I will
Mm.
always push back and I was like, no, like I grew up in Nigeria and I saw a lot of women in Nigeria that actually have those sort of features, you know? So I don't know what type of women you see in the UK, but in Nigeria, right? Uh, nah. You will see all types of black women. Like if you're looking for what might be considered the closest to women you will find in the US that are of, you know, of that old African American, population, you'll find more of that in Nigeria than anywhere else. You see, so I would say living in Lagos, going to the University of Lagos, I found, and I still would say the most beautiful black women anywhere in the world are definitely in Nigeria. So it all depends on what you consider, pretty, you know.
Uh,
So yeah.
uh, I'll tell this, brother, right? In my opinion, I think, you know, black American chicks, right, are amongst the most beautiful black women in the world. It's just the software is all messed up, but the hardware is good, bro. Especially if it's a black American chick that's in the gym. She's look after herself. She's up there, bro, amongst the top-notch black women. I would put black American women over Nigerian chicks based on looks only, bro. Looks specifically. Do you agree or do you disagree on that, brother?
I don't know if I haven't been to America before, so I couldn't really say. However, I do know that in Nigeria, And you know what? A lot of the even women in America, the Black American women there, even what they eat sometimes is, because I know there's a huge problem with obesity in the U.S. Especially
Mm,
amongst the black community. You wouldn't really find that in Nigeria. There is obese people, but it's not you know it's not a pandemic or whatever where it's like it's a major problem. So you will find women that are, if perhaps don't even go to the gym as much, but really have like really good bodies. They look, they're slender, they look good. You will find a lot of that in the US. However, some of the African American women might also be biracial. You know,
mm,
in Nigeria, you still have populations that are even biracial or that are mixed with like Arabs. So if you go to parts of the north, there's a group in. It's not like I'm not saying you have to be mixed to be beautiful, but I'm saying like there's a large population in terms of diversity amongst Nigeria. So you find all types of black people in Nigeria. That's just it's a very it's the country with the biggest black population anywhere in the world. You see, so you find all diverse mix of black people there. That's just what it is. You'll find the ones that have, you know, that perhaps Afro Asiatic in how they look. You'll find the ones that look very Nilotic, like the Sudanese and the Maasai people in Kenya. You'll find the ones that have those sort of Bantu features. You find everything. So the look is very diverse, just like the people. You see? So everything you would find. I was just telling you, giving you an example of how I dated a girl that looked Blasian. Literally. IP. She looked Blasian and she's not of any mix anyway. She doesn't have any Asian mix. She was very light skinned. She had that sort of, Asian facial face, but she had like a African body. She was thick IP. Thick,
damn.
you know. She was thick. Yeah, I remember there was this time like she came to see me and one of my friends was like, man, bro, like, is this what you're eating, bro? Like, come on. Like, yeah, bro, I be yeah, and I've been with some um yeah. I've been with some bad women, IP, that I can tell you.
Brother, let me bring in Junior, Terry Junior. Terry, you there? Give me a thumbs up, bro. Terry, give me a thumbs up. Can I bring you in with your camera on? Camera on? Is that cool? Okay, let me bring in Terry Junior in the background. What's going on, Terry? How you doing, bro?
Hey, what's going on, IP? Appreciate you and your guest, man, doing this show on Africa. As an African myself, I'm a bit biased, so I love it every time you do something on an African country. And I have to say, man, great information being given today. I had some people in the comments making fun of me on the boob questions, but hey, Meta has approved Nigeria for monetization. So what's going to happen here in June is you're going to see a country that has maybe 200, 220 million people. Over 120 million of those people are young people between like 18 and 30, 18 and 30, 35 or so. So that population is 6 times the size of Black America. So you're going to now have a population of young people who are incentivized to create content uh, to the American population and to each other. So we're going to see a lot of Nigerian content on the next half of this year. Uh, I don't. Does your guest know anything about that, and how does he think that's going to change the dating landscape moving forward, or at least the relationship between um, passport bros and young people in Nigeria in general?
Bye, Babatunde.
Yeah, like I did mention at the beginning of the stream IP, I did tell you that, there is a big IT space in Nigeria. I remember I mentioned that, and I told you that Nigeria is, when it comes to startups on the continent, it is number one, and that city being Lagos. And I also did mention that the likes of Facebook, the likes of Google, the likes of Microsoft are opening up, offices in Nigeria. So Nigeria is definitely on the up when it comes to anything tech. So I'm not privy to that information, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because I know this recent government, there's a lot of push as when it comes to like IT infrastructure. The guy was the current minister of what is it called? Minister of Communications, and the guy, um he's the co-founder of a hub called CC Hub in Lagos, which is known for like um really developing like young entrepreneurs in that IT space. So the president saw it was an idea of him to bring that sort of person into government, in order to effect that change. So what that brother said is probably true. I haven't done my research, but I wouldn't be surprised. And like I said, there's a lot of Nigerian content that is being consumed by the world. That the Afro beats, like I said, the music, the film. There's a lot of even short content as regards to short films, short skits. All of that is being consumed all over the world. So if that's the case, then I'm pretty sure the Nigerian youths are in for a big one, which is definitely a positive.
Awesome. Any other questions, Julian, Terry?
Oh, man, just look out for that, guys. There's going to be a huge deluge of content. I have no doubt. Nigeria is the first African country going to be monetized on Facebook and Instagram again, starting in June. With that being said, I want to make a round trip back to my comment earlier, because he was talking about Nigerian women being so well endowed. But when you look at the Nigerian women online, Facebook, Facebook, Instagram, they all, I would call them plus size, right? And I was just thinking, is that like do Nigerian men just like bigger women? Because even if you compare to East Africa or South Africa, I've noticed that the most popular women on social media in Nigeria, they all look exactly the same, just humongous breasts. And then they tend to be at least 200 pounds plus, 220 pounds plus. So is that what you guys like there? That's your taste?
Personally, that's not my cup of tea. That's why you see I'm mostly tilted towards women from the east of Africa, because they tend to have a particular physical structure.
Yeah.
You see. However, I think sometimes it depends on what age the lady is. So obviously, if she's had a couple of kids, and so going to the gym, looking all tight and fit is not really a big time culture amongst Nigerian women. It's something that is slowly getting into that. Lately, women or young women are beginning to work out. So it's not something that is really part of our culture, or part of the culture there. So, however, I do feel like younger women, are a whole lot more fit compared to the older ones. So if she's about 35 and upward, there's always that tendency that she might be, looking out of shape, but the younger she is, there's obviously, she would perhaps be in shape, a lot of the girls that I've dealt with in Nigeria, they were all in shape. And I was in Nigeria recently. A lot of the women there are in shape. But, if you're going to compare them to women in like Kenya or Rwanda, I think women in Nigeria are a bit more bigger than those types in those part of Africa. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for that, Terry. Great questions, bro. Great questions, brother. Awesome. Any other callers on a chime in? let's wrap it up soon. Let's wrap it up soon. Okay. All right. I've got another question for you, Babatunde. So, Baba, the Ibibi, what the flip? The
BBO.
Ibibio people, right? Brother, are these women underrated, brother? Can we definitely find wifey and virgin women amongst these women, brother? Or are they on that time like, Iba and Yoruba chicks, brother, when they box around?
I think the BBOs are, to be honest, if you're in that part of the country, I haven't been, so I wouldn't really know. But I do think that they are way more conservative compared to women in Lagos. My focus is Lagos, because in Lagos, it is a historically a Yoruba space, but you still find everyone's there. So you still find Ibibios there, you still find Hausas there, you still find, so the fact that you're in Lagos, it doesn't matter what part of the country you're from. As long as you're within that space, your attitude, the way you behave, it's just different to someone who's from, let's say, from a place that is indigenous to that particular group. I don't know if that makes sense. So
Mm,
even if she's the BBO, as long as she's in Lagos, man, she's different from the BBO in the BBO land. I don't know if that makes sense.
mm,
You understand? So the BBOs, I like the BBOs, Efik and the BBO people because they're chilled. You know, the environment is very nice, it's clean. They cook well, so I like them. And I also heard the women are very good in bed. I had women in the BBO land and Efik are very good in bed. So I don't know what. I don't know. I don't know how their body counts be playing up, but I heard that story, man, and that's something that is very very common, or not common, but that's something that is out there in Nigeria when it comes to the sexual um how good they are sexually in bed. They're very good in bed. So if that's what you like, IP, then yeah, BBOs are the one for you.
Let me also ask this, brother, right? So, brother, in Morocco, right? We had a Morocco stream the other day. Morocco's in Africa, and some of them mentioned that some Moroccan women are into black magic, and it's quite an issue there in Morocco. Is it the same, brother, in Nigeria? Are a lot of women into that black magic stuff, brother? Which tribes mostly do it, or is it a nationwide thing? Break it down for us, bro, if you have an insight on that.
IP West Africa is the home of black magic. I feel like, like, personally, I haven't dealt with any girl or woman that does that. It does exist, but you find more of that in the interland, like I said, like in amongst people in villages and towns, smaller towns, or villages in the interland. However, in the cities like Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, I think you'll find very less of things like that. It doesn't really, it's not common amongst
Okay.
people there. Yeah.
I hope so, bro. I hope not, bro, because you definitely don't want to be dealing with a chick like that, bruv. Hell no, man.
Yeah, it does exist. I won't give you any sort of it does exist, but you wouldn't, not with this generation, man. Like people, yeah, more driven by by lifestyle, like just yeah. It's becoming too Western, too westernized, the mindset of the people, especially in those big cities. So those type of things. I haven't dealt with any that does any of those fetish stuff. So yeah.
Let me ask you something, brother. Right? Do you see Nigerian men dating Chinese women, Lebanese women, and Indian women in Nigeria, brother?
Yeah, of course, of course. You know what? I was watching this guy, and he was saying that he had seen a half Nigerian and half whatever, and he was saying that he has seen a Nigerian and a Chinese, Nigerian and Jewish, Nigerian this and that, but that he was surprised when he saw in a half Nigerian and half tribe in Brazil. Like Brazil also have like indigenous populations, right? And you have
Mm,
some populations that are indigenous to people of the rainforest in Brazil. You know,
mm.
so imagine how far a Nigerian has gone to have even to have even you know gone as far as being with a woman who is an indigenous tribe in the rainforest in Brazil. So that's crazy. So
But
there's happening. Yeah.
in Nigeria though, Nigerian dudes are dating women of other races. The Chinese women that live there, the Indian women that live there, the Lebanese women that live there.
To be
Is that what you saw?
to be honest, in Nigeria, Nigerian men mostly date Nigerian, or mostly with Nigerian women. Mostly,
Mm.
yeah, I would say 99 or 98% of the time, they're mostly with Nigerian women. However, there are still cases where you'll find Nigerian men with a foreign woman. She could be Chinese, she could be Indian. I've seen Nigerian men with Indian women. Uh, I've seen Nigerian men with Chinese women. I've seen them with Europeans. So I've seen them with other, women from other African countries. So it is, you can see that there. But majorly they do, I'm with Nigerian women in Nigeria in particular.
Wow. Okay. Do you have any more questions, Terry? We're gonna wrap up very soon, and let Baba Tunde have a great day in Australia. Any more questions, Terry?
Just thank you for coming, bro. And, you shared a lot of information with us. I don't personally have any other questions, man. I'm really excited about the opportunity I have later this year to get to Nigeria. So it'll be my second time there, but this time I'm going on my own. So I'm really
Oh,
looking forward to having
where
a good time.
where you going? What city? You gonna be in Lagos, eh?
Yeah, I'll be in Lagos. I'm not, brave yet to go on the outskirts. I know you guys have kidnapping and all of that. There's a lot of other issues in Nigeria we didn't even touch on. So there's still a lot to learn. But no, Lagos is the place to be. And one thing I would say, man, is before you go, can you give us a little bit of insight on terms of like housing? Because I notice like Nigeria is not very popular for putting their properties on websites, right? So like if you go to Airbnb for Nigeria, everything is like super expensive, right? And we
Mm,
know that Nigeria is not necessarily an expensive country. There are places that are, $10 a night, there are $30 a night places. Where where are, and again, not to take up too much of your time. I know you got to go, but where are the sites that local people use to find affordable rentals in in
okay,
in, in Nigeria?
okay, okay. I think there's this a website called hotels.ng. You can use that to definitely source out some prices of accommodation um, in Nigeria. However, I think it might be best to actually be in Nigeria. You're right.
Hmm.
But maybe you could use bookings.com. Have you ever heard of bookings.com?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, you can use booking.com. But also, there are definitely way cheaper accommodations while in Nigeria. You can
Yeah,
have places like, the rooms can be like $10,000, 10,000 naira a night, which is like $10, I think,
right.
$20,
Hmm.
a night. You probably will find a lot of that online, because obviously the online platforms are usually for like, those more like you said, expensive
Yeah,
accommodations, like, but it also depends where you planning to stay. Are you going to be on the mainland? Are you going to be on the island? Because on the
true.
island, things are usually way more expensive than the mainland.
Hmm.
So if you're on the mainland, like let's say if you're in the hood, not like the hood, but like in the suburbs, like Surulere, like places like Yaba and places like that, accommodation is usually way less than if you're even in Ikeja or on the island,
Of
where it's
course.
more expensive. So like I said, you have the Lagos Island part of Lagos, and you have the mainland part of Lagos. The highland is usually times 5 or times 10 prices. Like you could find a fish on the mainland for like $1. You go to the island, the same fish, you can find it for $100. It's that ridiculous in the same city. So if you're how long are you planning on staying in Nigeria for?
Oh man, the plan is 4 weeks. It can turn into 2 months though, depending on what I see there. You
So
know what I'm saying?
what are you planning to do while you're there?
Uh, just to hang out, man. Just I'll be just on break, just enjoying my time there, man. Just trying to meet some ladies. Uh, I will be doing some church stuff with a local NGO that does some things with charities and whatnot, but that would really be kind of part time. But I'm really just
Okay.
there, just really for myself.
To be honest, to get the best experience, I would say you stay in Ikeja, which is the mainland,
Hmm.
or you stay in Yaba, or you stay on the island. For the best experience, I would still say the island is best because you know places like VI, Ikoyi, even though it's a bit more expensive, but there's you get that that city vibe there.
Hmm.
A lot of things to do. It all depends on how much you're willing to spend and what your budget is. But if you're really looking to not to spend a lot, I would say, you know, places like Surulere, places like on the mainland. But for a foreigner like yourself, well, you've been to Nigeria before, so you know what it's like anyway.
Hmm.
So that's what I was saying. If you want to get across to me, you can. Um, you can um, maybe message me on my Instagram. I could provide you with a bit more clarity and a bit more, spots you can chill out. But other than that, you stay on the mainland if you wanna, leave on a cheaper. But if you wanna, do do a lot, I reckon the island is better. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Awesome.
Like if you're looking to have a good if you're looking to have a very good time, I reckon the island is better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know,
I, but like you said,
it's
though, the island's expensive. I mean, the island's expensive. So
yeah,
I
it
know
is
this where this
expensive.
church is. They're more the Unilag area, you know.
Oh,
But
Unilag area, yeah.
but
You know,
IP. If we have one more question,
mm,
So
Yeah,
we
go
we
on.
did, yeah, we didn't even touch on the different levels of ladies in Nigeria because I again, and just because I associate with so many Nigerians, like you have your trench babes, and then you have your like, I mean, these girls are like, their fathers are really like millionaires, like US dollar millionaires, right?
yeah.
Um, like, what are the chances that a passport bro can really get those kind of like girls who are, I want to say top tier, right? Because I noticed
Mm.
those type tier Nigerian they really stick to themselves. They really stick to their people. I mean, for real, like they really just kind of stick in that group. And then the passport bros, they tend to get not necessarily the bottom, but I mean, they get good quality girls, but you're not going to get like a rich babe a lot of times. That's how I've noticed.
Okay, like I said, like if you're looking for the top tier Nigerian women, like if you're in Lagos, you want to go to like certain types of places. One, I would say a church. There's this church on the island. It's called City of David. It's a redeemed church. So the parish is called City of David. If you go to that church, trust me, there's a whole lot of rich folks that come there. So that might be a good spot to start from, City of David. And like I also mentioned, you want to know someone that knows someone. So in order to get the best tier Nigerian women, that's like I said, that's just the best way. Through a friend, through a mutual friend. I know this guy. Oh, he's from the U.S. It's good. It's this, it's that. You want to meet him? It's usually better that way than just sussing out women by yourself. You wouldn't find a top tier, if you're using that sort of approach. So you want to be like in churches. City of David is one that I know because I used to go there when I was in when I went to the University of Lagos. I would go there on the weekends. You would have like a spot for sedan cars. You have a spot for like G wagons and your SUVs and things like that. Even in church there was segregation with the car you drive. So that's
The
just
flip in church. Wow.
that just gives you that gives you an idea of In that church you will find ministers. I remember there was a time one that I was in a service, and one of the the members came up, and I saw this lady. I'm like, man, I know this lady on TV. Like, I've seen her on TV, and she was saying, oh, how back then the husband got kidnapped, yada yada yada, and how the president moved in swiftly to get his release or whatnot. And the husband was a minister, you see, was a minister in that government at the time. So those are the sort of caliber of people that you might likely be around if you go to that particular Redeemed Church. I think it's the most bougie in the city of Lagos, City of David. That's the name. So you could look into that. But if you're looking for the top tier Nigerian women, I would say that's the spot. You want to be around the island. Even though right nowadays a lot of scramps, on the island are just living that high life, but they're not really that. But I would say through a mutual friend, through someone that knows someone. The church is actually a good. I didn't mention that at the beginning, but the church is actually a very good avenue to meet really good women in Nigeria. But you still have to, do your due diligence as well. Even in the church, there are also, demons and and whatnot in places like that. Yeah, so that's the best bet.
Demons.
If sorry, just one last thing. If you're gonna be within city, the University of Lagos, that's actually like a very middle to income area. So you can perhaps get an accommodation around that area. However, if you want to be dealing with high class women, you don't want to be in that area. You want to be on the island. So you get what I mean.
Mm.
So if you want to be dealing with high class women, women that are bougie or women that have, from very good homes, then you want to be in that area. But Nigerian women are not the same as other parts of Africa. That I can tell you. They don't the way they move very. You have to be like on top of your game. Like, it's not like you can just go like to some random country and just pick a girl and think, nah. The women there, they ball hard. Yeah, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. Yeah, yeah. And they are good women. You can't find good women. I have a friend whose wife is very rich. She's very rich. This guy, we were all planning to come to Australia about 10 years ago. Each time I go home, he keeps telling me he wants to come to Australia, but that's a lie because he's living a very good life back in Nigeria. He's got like a very rich wife. They've been to everywhere around the world. They've been to the US, everywhere. And she's there in Nigeria living. She has no plans of wanting to live abroad or anything. She's good. So there are definitely people back in Nigeria that are living the best life that I can tell you. Yeah, actually, they live the they people back in Africa that are rich, their lives are better than people in the West, and that's
Oh,
a fact.
absolutely. That's a
Yeah,
whole, subject in itself. Absolutely.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like we got to do a part two, but we got to let Baba Tunde go. So Terry, if you can send me a DM on IG, Baba, that'd be great. Or definitely want to hear about your trip in Nigeria when you come back, brother. When are you going?
Yeah, I'll be in there in September. So I'll be there in September. I think for 2 months.
Awesome.
Wow.
So thank you there, Terry. Much appreciated, bro. For calling in. So, Baba, last question for you, Baba Tunde. Kidnappings, is that something we got to worry about in Lagos and Abuja?
No, 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 no. There's not a lot of kidnapping in Lagos, no Abuja. I think if you go into the remote areas, um, like in the villages or in certain small towns, and that's when you have to worry. But if you're a pastor bro and like Terry, you're working for a church, you're engaging in, you don't have to worry about things like that. In Lagos, no Abuja, there's no the likelihood of that is very slim. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Terry. Much appreciated. But I'm going to drop you off. Babatunde, I want to say a huge thank you, bro, for your time today, brother, and dropping Intel Nigeria, brother. Do you have any closing statements before we let you go, bro?
Yeah, I just want to say, look, African Americans and especially Black diasporans should consider, Africa as an investment. There are a lot of opportunities in Africa. If you don't like Nigeria, that's okay. You have South Africa there. You have Kenya. I'm actually thinking of making investments in South Africa. Cape Town. There's Joburg. There's Nairobi, Kenya. There are a lot of places where we as Black people can invest. And rather than complaining about the West or about the Chinese and Indians taking up all these opportunities, we should move in as well and share within that those opportunities that are on the continent. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Awesome, bro. But when you do make that investment in the country, let me know so we can have a stream about how that process went, so we can encourage more brothers to actually do it, and get something moving, man. That is the only way. So thank you, brother, today. Appreciate you, brother. Feel free to drop every anytime you want to, bro. Much appreciated, bro.
No worries. Thank you. Happy. Bye.
Take it easy, bro. Peace to you. Thank you, man. Much appreciated. So, brothers, classic stream. Shout out to Brother Tune for breaking it down for us. If you want to come on the channel yourself for your intel in regards to traveling, in regards to a country you've been to, send me a DM on IG. I'll get you on, and then we'll have a great discussion. I'm International Passport, and I'll see you tomorrow for yet another live stream on a new country. And I'm sure you brothers will be looking forward to that. Have a great weekend, a good week ahead, and I'll see you brothers very soon. Peace out. Thank you so very much. Peace. Oh, what a stream. It is 6 a.m., 5 a.m. over here in the UK. Let me get to bed. Peace out.